Yes, guys, how you doing? Completely forgot the intro. Hope everyone is happy and healthy, doing the things they love. Welcome back to the Spurs Five. It is your Monday night show. Since the last time we've spoken, quite a lot has changed at Club Tottenham Hotspur. We have a new interim manager. We have people that have only been at the club for 33 days that have already been let go of. We have a wonderful echo already, Johnny. It's lovely to see. Johnny, but I'm going to talk to you in the private chat, mate. I think I know what the issue is. Guys, please do smash the like button, hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Welcome back. Hit the notification bells; they should be squeezed, and comments should be dropped thick of us. But be respectful. We've already seen some people in the chat being apparently disrespectful unnecessarily before we even get going. What are we doing there? What are we doing here? We are, of course, sponsored by OK Jersey. The wonderful people that are found by searching for OK Jersey on your Google, and you can, wherever you go, wherever you land, whatever you're looking for, if you find something nice over there, and you probably will, then you can get 8% off at checkout using code 5. We are also available on all of your podcast platforms. You can watch us back on Spotify. You can listen to us back on Apple and Amazon and all that jazz. So if that is your thing and those are your platforms of choice, then please do search us up over there. Search for Spurs 5 or drop into the description and find the link. Give us a follow and a rating. Stel, your head in your hands already. How are you?
No, I'm sorry. I'm just tired, guys. I'm tired. I'm tired. Thank you everyone for watching tonight. All the podcasters as well who listen afterwards. Smash like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It's been a long day, and you know what? I'm ready for the season to end. Just end it, please. End it.
Yeah, as long as we get the 9 points, the extra 9 points we need, I think, before we get there. Big up to you, Stel. Johnny, how you doing, my man? Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, I just about made it here. I had a blowout at about 1 o'clock today. I had to pull over to the roadside and wait about 4.5 hours to get a tyre when they said one might not be coming. So I just about made it. I'm also knackered, but always here for the 5. And my jerseys arrived, and they were more than okay jerseys. Sean.
Nice.
Yeah?
Nice. Very good, mate. Very good. Good to see you, Lubo. How are you, my man? Nice jumper.
All good today. All good today. Feeling much more confident now that Igor's in charge instead of Stel's manager. So, I'm quite happy today.
Good, Johnny. If you look on the private chat, mate, I should be able to. I think what you might have is a setting in your Apple. If the microphone's dialed up to 50%, that's why it's catching in the feedback. You can turn it right down to like 10%, and that's what I've got mine on 10%, and it still picks up absolutely fine. That's probably where the feedback loop is coming from. Guys, right, let's start with the big breaking news. It's not breaking news anymore. It's 3 or 4 days ago, but Igor Tudor has joined the club, and my oh my, has this one been met by a catalogue of different takes all across the media, all across the fan base, all across the previous players, the journalists. Everyone's got a take on this one. Everyone's got a different take on this one. I'm going to start with you on this one, Lubonton. What are we doing here, mate? Are you okay with this one? Are you happy? Are you scared? Are you nervous? Obviously, the man's got no Prem proven experience. Bit of I've been calling him the European Sam Allardyce. He does seem to have a kind of a fix-it method, but he doesn't do very well when given a long time. But we don't need him here for a long time. We need him here for a good time starting on the weekend. What's your overall stance on this man, Lubo?
I haven't followed him at all in terms of being a manager. I know he's a very good defender. And for me, listen, whoever came in as an interim now, unless you are bringing in somebody who is Prem proven or someone that knows the game, like an Alonso, knows the Premiership, an established manager, someone who's won things, it's going to be a risk. I wanted Redknapp with Carrick a couple of months ago. Redknapp would have been a risk, but having said that, they've got for me, I think personally they should have brought Redknapp in for the feel good factor, put his arm around players, lift players, get confidence back. That's what I would have done. And maybe they obviously didn't fancy Cochrane or Heisinger, and to work with a Harry Redknapp. So they've cleared them out, haven't they? I mean, they've apart from Frank, 4 more have gone today.
Yeah, we'll come to that in the next segment.
Listen, it's, at the end of the day, he's got to get them disciplined again, because I think that dressing room needs tightening up, needs sorting out very, very quickly. I think you hear of stories of players turning up late for training. It's not good. It's really not good. So if people aren't sharp in training, that shows on match day. And look at our first half performances. So hopefully, if he's stylistically, he's been compared to a Conte in terms of the way he likes to play. I think he's been manager for 124 games, and all bar 4 of those he's played a back 3, and the other 4 he played a back 4. So I think we'll be seeing a back 3 for the rest of the season. And I think which will mean that Byfield will probably get some minutes as well until Danso comes back in the middle of March with Romero. You've got to be hopeful. I've always been glass half full. I want Spurs to do well, and there's no reason with the fixtures that we've got that we can't pull out of trouble.
Are you concerned, Lubo, with the? I guess I think most of the it's very difficult on this particular topic to summarize people's views, because everyone's got a different take on this one. But I think one of the overhanging consistent themes is his lack of, obviously his lack of time that he's going to have, but also the probability that he's not as familiar with certain teams, and certainly he's got no familiarity with the Premier League at all. In managerial terms, are you concerned? Not so much, obviously, the Arsenal game is the first up, and that's the sort of least likely one where we're going to expect a fantastic result. But after that, we've got some games against some teams that hopefully are winnable.
Sure.
But with his lack of experience, is he going to know the intricacies, the nuances of Sunderland away? Is he going to know the nuances of Wolverhampton Wanderers? And if he doesn't, how's he going to find that kind of knowledge gap plugging before we get to those? Because it's going to be, I think it's a fair concern to have, right? He might be a good tactician. He might have history of getting enough done to get you through a certain tricky period. But in this environment, every little advantage will count, and he probably doesn't have the knowledge. I'm not discounting that he, maybe he does, but I'm just saying he's not familiar with the biggest teams, and certainly not the Premier League at all, right? So
I presume he's been looking through going through videos of the matches this season, so that he brings himself up to speed with what's been going wrong, because he's brought in as a Red Adair, isn't he? Put the fire out and make sure that the house doesn't fall down. So at the end of the day, I suppose he's going to need help from people. Hopefully, there are other people that will come through and that they can lean on. There's nothing on the board in terms of football knowledge that he can lean on, which is a shame. He's got to do his own homework, hasn't he? But I'm sure if he's professional, he will do. But I think there are 8 games definitely where we can get points. Villa, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Liverpool are the 4 that I can't see us getting anything from. But the other 8, I think we can, and I'm sure we can get enough points to stay up. And then hopefully in the summer, Mr. Pochettino will come and hopefully we'll start putting right the wrongs that have brought the club to where we are over the last few years.
Yeah, fair enough. Stel, we were joking a couple of weeks ago with your insights into what the club should be doing, that the club should have reached out to you and offered you a role in the first team. And maybe they thought they'd done that when they approached Igor Tudor, because there's a little bit of a doppelganger thing going on there, Stel. There's a tiny bit of a doppelganger. You don't look dissimilar, my man. Slightly different beard, but it's not too shabby. How do you feel about the whole thing?
I think he looks more like Lubo without a beard. With a beard, should I say?
Yeah. It's kind of it's like a little love child maybe of the two.
Igor Lubo. Listen, I don't know. I really don't know. It's not what I would have done, but after 3 games, I'll know. After 3 games, I'll know what's what with this man. The first game is almost a write-off because whoever comes in, that first game is killer. The second game is Fulham away. That's where you're looking to see, right, can you change the tide? Because that's the kind of game maybe we normally draw. Can you change the tide? But then the one after that, Palace at home. If you can't win that, then we're fucked. So the next 3 games for me will decide. What I have noticed, though, is the bullshit that we jump on as a fan base. It just... I thought after Frank it would end it would stop, but it just seems to have continued. It's almost like we love it.
Nothing changes in our fan base. What specific bullshit are you talking about?
It's the way the media can infiltrate the fan base, and then it spirals online, and then every YouTube show sucks it up. That's their critical analysis. That's their critical thinking. That's the level we're at. Example. There's always a buzzword, right? It's always a buzzword. So when we got Mourinho and Conte, winners. They're winners, right? Everyone, yeah, spiraled eye. Okay, that stopped. Then it's entertainment and entertain, yeah. Right. Now that goes away. What's the next word? Professor. Yeah, he's a professor. Now the buzzword. Troubleshooter. Troubleshoot. He's here to trouble. And I'm just...
I haven't heard that one. I've not heard people using that one to describe
all I've heard is he comes in, he's a troubleshooter. He comes in, he's the fixer, right? And I'm just... How many words are we going to easily succumb to? And that forms the basis of our entire analysis. Listen, this guy is going to go one of 2 ways. There's no middle ground. He's either going to be a catastrophic decision and relegate us, or he's just going to get those 4 wins and keep us up. There's no middle ground with this guy. He's either going to completely fix it, or he's going to completely send us into oblivion. So if he comes in, guns are blazing, give him a rocket up their arse and all that, I think he's toast. If he comes in and just lifts the confidence and tries to be on their side, but without being a pushover, then I think he's got a real chance. I do. I don't know what he's like. He's not a guy we mentioned when we were talking about potential interims and managers. I need 3 games. Three games, and I think I'll know what's what with this guy. So let's see.
Still, you don't think by 6:30 on Sunday night we'll see whether they've put a shift in or not, regardless of the results?
No, because I think Arsenal are they're so goddamn good. If they turn it on, do you know what it is, Lubo? When I saw Newcastle putting the ball into our box, I just thought they're going to score every time. If that happens against Arsenal, they will score because they're the best at it. So it's such a difficult game to judge us against. If we were playing Sunderland at home, or if we were playing, I don't know, someone who's in that mid-table area, like a Fulham at home, I'd be able to judge it. I just think the North London derby is the worst barometer. And it's not just this guy, Lubo. Any manager that came in to a set, if he wins the game, then yeah. If he wins it, then yeah.
I was just talking in terms of the effort, you know, and have they brought in?
You'll always see effort in the first game of a new manager. That's not necessarily because of him, though. That's just because the players. I maintain that I think half the reason why you see a new manager bounce, it's not actually the new manager; it's the ex-manager exit. I think the players have just dropped their effort levels for the previous guy. It's not necessarily a new tactic or a fresh idea; it's just a fresh face, and so they've sort of regressed back to the mean. And I still don't think the mean will be enough against Arsenal. But you will see, you should see better effort. If you see something horrendous, if you see something similar to what you saw in the first Arsenal game, then
Sure.
like
Sean, this is it for me, right? Whoever came in, even if it was Heitinger, let's say they gave him the role for this game. Whoever came in, for me, they would have been given a free pass for this one-off specific game. Having said that, touching on what you said, if we get clobbered 5-0. I'm seriously thinking, what the hell's just happened? What have we just
panic
done?
stations, and then all of the concerns that probably I'd say 55-60% of the fan base and certainly 75% of the media will be amplified and multiplied, and then it will just create more shitstorm, which is the last thing that you need right now. You need the fan base to just get behind the team, even if you're pissed off, even if you're upset, even if you're generally frustrated. For me, the most important thing the fans can do is weather the storm and realize that there's bigger fish to fry right now, which is staying up, and keep all your frustrations and your reservations as best as you can in check.
I think fans' support tends to flow on performance. If the performance is good, the support will
be
is
there.
very good. It'll be there. If the performance is dog shit, no matter who's the manager, fans just give up. So what's the point? What you lot aren't trying, so why am I going to try? That's kind of.
I hear you, but the stakes on Sunday are so high, right? Even though it's like an 80-20 sort of in their favour fixture, the fact of the matter is that half of the fan base care more about Arsenal not winning than they do about us staying up. So there's a motivation for us to get for that side of the fan base to get behind it. If we manage to get a result, even if it's a draw.
A draw is a good result.
It's a great result, but also it's like it really throws the cat amongst the pigeons for the Arsenal side of the equation. But Johnny, let me bring you in, mate. Before we get into the specifics, all that stuff, Igor Tudor, your first thoughts, mate?
Listen, I'm not going to mock Tudor, but I am going to mock the board, basically, because if you're going to give this guy half a chance, okay, then what you don't do is get rid of at least one or two staff that can give you a heads up of how things lie. And even if it's a Cochrane who's been there historically and has been there, now you could turn around and say, well, he's part of the problem. Or you could say Heitinger, he's not been there long enough. But what I would say to you is, as a manager coming in and knowing absolutely nothing, and you can say you've done your homework, right? You need a little bit more than watching Y Scout, right? We can all sit there and watch Y Scout. Y Scout does not.
I do every single day.
Yeah. Y Scout does not tell you personality, doesn't tell you application, doesn't tell you mental strength, doesn't tell you mental weakness. It tells you jack shit, right? So my point here is you've got rid of them all, right? Those that can give you insight are no longer there. Now, I'm not saying keep everyone.
Johnny, do you mind if we just stick to the Igor, because it's a whole other segment. I want to put it in the clip afterwards. Can we stick to the Igor Tudor thing now, and then we'll do the staff transitions.
I just think that you've thrown the guy. The point here is important to me is that you're going to judge this guy. Like Stel says, he's going to give him 3 games, but at least give him some. What are you going to give him? A dossier that's been compiled by someone else on a notepad. Are you going to give him what? Thomas Frank's notes? I mean, what? The guy's going to come in. He's going to have to judge everything on eyesight in 4 days before he makes 5 days before he makes a decision. With most of those players, Richie was back today at training. I'm not sure if Porro's back, but those are the only 2. So he's going to have maybe 14 players. Not much of a choice to go through to decide. But why offer the guy a job which is already very difficult and tie the guy's hand behind his back? Look, is it inspiring? Absolutely not. Sacked, left. Couldn't agree. Falls out with people. On a quite regular basis. Look, he is what it is. He is who he is. I can do nothing but get behind him, like I do behind every manager that comes in, early doors. But look, am I worried? Yes. Do I think it's the right appointment? 100% not.
Johnny, are you influenced at all here? I'm not suggesting you are, just throwing it out there. People like Tim Sherwood, right?
No.
Been very, very vocal over the last over the last week about how much he wanted the job, right? He thought he could do it. I've proven it. I can do it. I'm a great manager. 2.72 points per game, all that stuff. And then as soon as the club doesn't go in that direction and he goes down the Igor Tudor route, he changes his tune and says it's a lose-lose for any manager coming in because, you know, you're going to have to win 90% of the games and lift the Champions League to get the job on a full-time basis. And
you still won't get it. And you still,
won't get it. But like, is Tim Sherwood sort of, I mean,
bitter, mate. Just
bitter. And obviously completely hypocritical, right? Because he was begging for the job and now he's saying that Igor Tudor's a mug for taking it.
Yeah, look, Igor Tudor don't care. He's getting paid, right? And he will be definitely on a bonus for keeping them up. Look, as I said, not going to mock Tudor. I'm going to mock the board. Absolutely clueless. They do not know what is going on, right? They have lost control. And I never thought that I would say this, but be careful what you wish for, Sean, because Daniel Levy knew what was going on. You might not have liked what was going on. You might not have liked it, okay? But what he did, and I've said this time and time again.
He ran a tight ship.
He made that club take me away and the house of cards will all fall down on top of each other, right? Because without me, I control everything. It's like playing Kaplunk, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And basically,
you take the keystone out of the bridge and the whole bridge falls down, right?
Correct. And this is what we're suffering from now. So what they've done, they spent months trying to fill the voids, and now they've got rid of them and they're getting rid of more. And they're clueless at the moment, okay? Directionless, clueless. It's a throw of the dice. Let's hope we can survive until the summer, right? The whole thing's a shit show, right? We know finances are up shit. We spoke about this weeks ago, Sean, about trying to get the shirt sponsorship and everything else, trying to get that all done, right? It was all mentioned before. I said it's going to be a problem, but it's become a self-fulfilling prophecy and it's become more of a problem. The guys on hiding to nothing, like we say, with all managers, doesn't matter if you fail here because everyone fails here. So therefore, he can't lose. He can't lose. If he failed, everyone fails. And if he succeeds and keeps this up, he will be considered he's done an okay job. But let's be honest, should he keep us up? Yes. As Lubo said, we should be able to find 10, 12 points from somewhere.
Yeah, I've looked at Nottingham Forest's fixtures. I don't know if anyone's gone through them, but West Ham fixtures are, about the same as ours. Some wins, some losses in there, some easier, some harder. Nottingham Forest fixtures are brutal. And they're 3 points behind us anyway. I wouldn't be surprised if Forest only
I'd love it.
They might have their own new manager bounce under Pereira, but I on an even keel, I just look at them and think that there's maybe 6 points in their final 12 games, or maybe 7 or something. So
what were we going to say, Still?
I was going to say, with regarding giving him 3 games, I'm not giving him 3 games before I judge him. I'm giving him 3 games before I know what this guy's about. As in, I'll know what kind of a manager.
Can you tell, though? I mean, I get what you're saying. If he had, like, maybe, I don't know, 16, 17 players, I could hear what you're saying. But is he not really bound by circumstance?
Really? Every manager is. For me, it's
no one like this, though, right? Would you? I mean, there's no one in the Premier League who's got this.
Frank had a nightmare. Ange had a nightmare. For me, it's about observing his decision making prior to the game and during the game, and what he says in the press conferences. Things like that, those nuggets. For me, I find I can figure out what kind of a manager I'm looking at after those games. And it's a nice selection of games because you've got a big North London derby. You've got a tricky away London derby. And then you've got another London derby at home, which club looks like down tools now. Come back from Burnley says to me, Palace, their head's gone. So it's enough games. It's a nice sample size for me to...
It's going to be tough, though. I mean, look, I think what
he's about. Yeah, but it's the decision making, Johnny. Though that's what it is. It's the decision making. It is tough. I still think we can get relegated. You think?
I can't find a single.
I still think we can go down.
I'm trying to find an interview on him so I can gauge what he says, also how he says it for my accent thing. But I can't find a single interview on him.
There's not a lot about him, but I do think
Because he's not at a club long enough to do one.
Look, the one thing about Frank, which was a major issue, right? Not walking off and not shaking the manager's hand. The behaviour of certain players, turning up late for training, should have nipped that in the bud straight away. And this guy, historically, from I think something at Lazio, was it Lazio or in Turkey? I can't remember. I don't think this guy's going to stand any nonsense. And believe me, 6'4", bit of a giant, bit of a no holds barred sort of character. I think if someone does confront him, the good thing is, he speaks fluent Italian. So with Vicario, Kulu, Bentancur, they're no longer there. Previous form with Muani. Romero speaks fluent Italian. He might be able to get through to them.
Dragusin speaks Italian.
Yeah, I think he might be able to get through to them on that level.
Yeah,
and Dragusin, he would know Dragusin as well from his time there at the club. He also speaks Italian, so I'm expecting something.
You can have a chat with him, Sean, can't you?
What's that, mate?
You can have a chat with him.
Hey, this club. 26 weeks I have been here. This club. No one speaks my language. Anyway.
If I hear you say that one more time this week, I'm just going to fucking explode. Every show I go on, right? No matter what show I go on, I hear Lise Club. And it's Sean. It's Sean. Every single.
You just wait until I get my new computer, mate, with my super speed graphics.
But quickly back on Mr. Tudor. The one game I'm looking at for real change is against Crystal Palace at home, because I honestly believe
that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Still,
that's the one I believe he should be winning, and that's the moment where I say we've finally won a game at home. Now, if he can beat them and beat them at our ground, that would be a really positive sign for us for the rest of the season. If we struggle in that one and we don't win that, I'm telling you, it's panic stations. That's the game I'm looking at. The next two, whatever. The Crystal Palace one, though, he's got.
Can I just ask? Have you seen Sean? Sean, have you seen a statement from the trust about the? I don't know if that was in the.
Oh yeah, I'm going to bring it up. Afterwards. Yeah, it's all on the list, mate.
I hadn't seen the list. Sorry.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the staff changes and the consequences of it, and what it looks like for the, for the kind of the noise that's been out there. I've had battles on Twitter this week saying, as Johnny, you and I know that, and we sort of spoke about it before, even the man Paul O'Keefe did. Johnny, let me just put you on mute for a second. I'll come to you first, Johnny. That it wasn't Binay and it wasn't Lang that sacked Thomas Frank, right? They were overruled. They wanted to keep him. We've heard that from multiple places now across the zeitgeist. Certain people like Ali Gold and other sort of journalists are pushing certain other narratives. Doesn't seem to ring true with what we're hearing. And obviously, I also find it odd when they said that those two were behind the push for Igor Tudor. Now today, was it today? Yeah, this morning we've heard around Tottenham's coaching changes. They brought 3 players in. They've got rid of 4 players from the Thomas Frank, including a guy that only signed 33 days ago in Heitinger. Does this not solidify, before we get into the specifics of who these people are and the people that are leaving, just very, very quickly, guys, does this not solidify that the tail is in fact wagging the dog, right? That it is in fact clear that the people that the footballing decisions were made, the decisions that were made by the footballing people have been catastrophic failures, and that now those decisions are being unwound very quickly. And obviously Fabio Paratici, who we know was the pusher of the Igor Tudor story. And we also know that Roberto De Zerbi was spoken to before Igor Tudor. And once he realized it was only going to be a short-term appointment, he said, no, I'm not ready. No, I'm not interested in that. Come and speak to me in the summer, maybe, or whatever else. And that he, of course, was also someone that Paratici wanted to employ before Thomas Frank was employed, when he was still in his consultancy role. Is it not now abundantly clear that the powers that be in the non-footballing side of Tottenham Hotspur have got egg on their face and they backed the wrong horse in that particular DOF whole like, debacle.
100%, Sean. 100%.
And the Vinay and Johan Lang clearly are in my opinion, they look like they are undermined, and that their time is well, at least Johan Lang, their time is short. Surely
they're not. They don't know what they look. Let's be honest, right? They've just spunked tens of millions of pounds yet again, right? We've just hired 9 people, 9 former Brentford workers who used to work with Thomas Frank. 9 of them. Okay, they're all going to be. A lot of them are going to be sacked. Okay, we had to pay compensation for most of these to get them out of Brentford. Now we're going to have to pay compensation to get rid of them. We just got Heitinger, right? Why not keep him to the end of the season? Why not keep Cochrane to the end of the season? Why pay them compensation when they could have helped Tudor? They don't know what they're doing, right? They kept them too long. Even though I was a Thomas Frank fan, right? Pre him arriving, I couldn't have been shocked if he got sacked after the Arsenal game or after the Chelsea game, because of how poor it was, right? I just thought, well, things are bad. Maybe they'll get better, but they didn't. But the board, look, I don't think Johan Lang has a clue what to do. He has the personality of a blank piece of paper, right? He couldn't sell sand to the Arabs. He couldn't sell anything, mate. Like, he's absolutely clueless. And I think Vinay is furiously, although he's trying to look calm on the surface of the water, I think below the water his feet are paddling furiously, trying to keep himself afloat. Because I just think that they're rudderless at the moment. You've got Charrington, you've got Boucher, you've got Vinay, you've got Farter, you've got the Lewis kids, and you've got Lang. I think there's too many people with too many opinions. How many of them are football opinions? One football opinion, and he ain't worth 2 sorts. One guy who's not even qualified to make decisions is making decisions. And the one guy who did have the quality, in my opinion, and I know a lot of people disagree with it, is now in Fiorentina, having got 5 players there who are now suddenly climbing up and look like they're going to avoid relegation. When he was given that job, or told about that job, they were bottom of the league. I think they're now 3rd from bottom, with a very good chance of staying up with players that they've taken in on loan, right? Whereas we couldn't do jack shit. I mean, what did we do? We got rid of a winger and brought in a pressing midfielder, right? And a Brazilian kid that isn't even meant to play. They are rudderless. They are clueless. And basically, we might as well be in LA having one of those driverless cars. And let's all jump in the back and let's just trust the computer to take us to our destination, because I think that's what we've done. We've put our hands in control of someone who might not 100%, well, in my opinion, doesn't know which direction to go. And it's a scary proposition for me, Sean. It really is. I do think we will somehow scrape through and make it, but it's going to cost us millions. Who wants to be associated with his club? Who wants to sponsor us? Who wants to do on our jersey? Who wants to do anything with his club? Every single day in this club, there's more bad news, more shit news, right? I mean, I've been through it all with Lubo over the years and years and years. I don't remember my club ever being this bad. I was at a hotel at the weekend, and the guy bringing in the luggage, he turned around and he said to me, "What a shit show our club is." He says, "It's a mess." He said, "I've been supporting them, I don't know, not that long, not years, but he said, it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And I don't think we have a leader anymore. Now Daniel's gone. Sorry, I've gone on this rant, but now Daniel's gone. As much as it pains me to say it, without him leading the way, right? Could he be improved on? Yes, Daniel definitely could have, but not with these guys.
what's happened, Johnny, what's basically happened is that the boards have taken it upon themselves that they don't want to get involved in the day-to-day running like Levy did. So they have put their trust in Levy's choice of CEO, Vinay. Well done, Daniel. Nice.
Not Levy's choice of CEO, Charrington's choice of CEO. Come on, mate. Don't rewrite the story.
Right. So, and what they've done with Paratici, they stood behind the CEO who backed the wrong horse in Lang and Frank completely. So Paritici's gone, which has left us bereft of any football knowledge there. And they have panicked when they've seen Vinay stick with Frank, and they've obviously been talking. One would logically think that the board have been talking with Vinay about Frank's tenure for probably the past couple of months, I would have thought. And Vinay's saying, no, he's got to stay, he's got to stay, he's got to stay. All the reports have come out in the last week that Vinay and Lang wanted him to stay for the season. And I think Vivian and Charlie and maybe Joe have looked at the situation as we're sliding down the table. There are empty seats in Champions League matches as well. Another bad decision that was made in terms of ticket pricing that's cost them a lot of money. And they're looking at it thinking, Jesus, Vinay's not so clever. What are we doing? Nick Boucher has now been brought in to relook at the whole situation. And the board have turned around to Vinay and Lang and said, sorry guys, you get rid of him. We don't trust you. We don't trust your judgment. Number one. They've then, if you look at it logically, they've gone to Paratici, who's got the connection with Tudor from Juventus. And I'm sure Paratici, I know Ramon Vega tweeted this has got Paratici all over, fingerprints all over it. So the board.
Who tweeted that? Sorry?
Ramon Vega.
It's obvious it does. It doesn't take a genius to work that out.
Makes sense. So again, no discussion with Vinay or Lang regarding the next manager. So they've been sidelined on that as well. And I would expect both of those guys to be gone in the summer. I don't see how, having made this mistake, that, Vinay turned around and said, we looked at 30 different profiles of managers, and Frank was the one we settled on. And for them to risk so much in terms of Spurs Premiership status to save face because of what he came out with, I think is disgusting. Vinay works for the club and he should have put the club first. That's how I view it. That's how I see it. I don't see Vinay or Lang surviving. They are, for me personally, I said last week,
lame ducks now, right? They're lame ducks. They've been undermined, overruled, undervalued, and completely. They're lame ducks now. Totally. If you didn't listen to them on their decision around who to keep, you're not going to listen to them on who to hire, especially if the reason why Paratici left. Again, always question the motivations of the speaker, but he said one of the reasons I left was because my ideas weren't listened to, right? So all of the ideas that he had have now been taken on board after he's gone.
Yeah,
it's outrageous. It's disgusting. It's outrageous, and the two of them should resign in shame, let alone waiting to be kicked out. Like it's like you decided to go against the guy who you're now allegedly and pushing narratives into the press, saying, "Oh yeah, it was these two that pushed it," to try to give some impression of a duck on water, like it's all clean, it's all clear. There's nothing to see here. It's a load of absolute BS. It's insulting to the fans' intelligence to pretend like Johan and Vinay are not a fundamental core part of the problem in the decision making over the last 9 months. And I know you think that I know you said that Levy hired him. He wasn't. It was Charrington that hired him.
The other thing, Sean, that I genuinely believe in is that people were complaining that Frank wasn't backed in the transfer window. This is your reason why he wasn't backed, because they didn't trust him.
Yeah, well, maybe, like I say, we don't.
You're surmising that, Lubo. You don't know, mate.
I'm surmising. I'm just looking at it logically, Johnny, because we brought in Gallagher.
I don't think so. Sure, Lubo.
Yeah, I don't agree with that, to be honest.
Lubo, I actually think it was ineptitude, mate.
They went after Paqueta, and Paqueta said no. They could have got Akliouche. They didn't. Paratici wanted Akliouche. Johan Lang and Frank wanted Paqueta, Vinay went with them once again, and Paqueta said, "No, thanks, I'm going back to Brazil." Like the profiling is ridiculous. The profiling has to include some level of, shall we see if the guy wants to come before we put all our eggs into that basket?
I
They did
wanted
the same thing with
Semenyo.
Semenyo. It's ludicrous, and I think that like I say, for me, Johan Lang is entirely inept. But Vinay, look, as a CEO, you have to delegate, right? You have to pick a horse. If you're going to say we've got this guy and it's all going to be co-symbiotic, it never was going to be that way. That called that from the second it happened. But if you're going to pick a horse, then you've got to live and breathe on the decisions that you make. And Vinay has made a series of horrendous decisions where he backed the wrong horse, and the right horse has now left. And after he's gone, we're 100% picking up the phone saying, "Fab, sorry, mate. Should have listened to you. Any chance you can get Igor on the phone, because at least you had a plan, and that plan is better than these bozos that are currently making plans who we've completely undermined and overruled in the last 24 hours."
Sean, going back to the transfer window, the last half of January, there was hardly any sounds about players coming to Spurs at all.
Well, that's the Johan Lang model, isn't it? It's been the case since he's been here.
Do you not think, Sean? Do you not think that they didn't fancy Frank? They also probably didn't fancy Lang. Maybe that's the thought as well.
Clutching at straws here, right? Look. The truth of the matter is, the club desperately needed reinforcements. Frank needed reinforcements. You know this. We had players coming back. Bullshit. You know those injuries. Most of those injuries are end of March and later, right? None of that. Most of those players aren't coming back, and not to the point where their eyes are on one thing and one thing only, right? Let's get this guy in. Let's get some money. Let's win that last 16, get through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League and make some money, right? That's their purpose, right? And I think the whole thing's an absolute shit show. I actually can't believe we're in this situation now where we got 12 to 14 fit players. We've sold away. I've got no problem selling Brennan Johnson, right? I was never a massive fan, right? But when you're going to sell a right winger, let's replace him with a better right winger. Arsenal don't sell a right winger and replace him with a midfielder. They'll only sell a player and buy an even better one. We haven't bought anyone that's
especially
better.
when our forward line is the weakest part of our squad generally.
Correct, Sean. Correct.
Stel, let me bring you in, mate. The initial question was about Vinay and Johan Lang. Does the appointment of Igor Tudor and the sacking of, I haven't even mentioned who the names were, by the way. We'll come to that in the next segment. But does it genuinely basically assume that Vinay and Johan Lang are lame ducks? And is it proof that the non-footballing people at the club have decided to not trust the footballing people?
Do you know, I've been sitting here for 15 minutes listening to you guys chat. Do you know how refreshing it is to hear you all talk sense? It's been a pleasure to listen to you guys talk. Honestly, I just want to say thank you. I'm winding you up, by the way. I'm winding you up.
You're welcome. I mean, I'm surprised you're not used to it from me, at least. I mean, that's all I do is talk sense. You know?
Johnny summed up everything I would have said. Lubo added to it. You as well. Everything you guys say tonight, I fully agree with. I don't disagree with any of it. I mean, go back to the summer. I was never convinced by these appointments. I really did not like Vinay becoming part of our board. Charrington, I just thought was just another money man. And Lange, Lange. What can you say about that guy? And then you see how it's all unfolded as the season's gone on. You've seen everything, the decisions everything Johnny said. I repeat that. Everything Lubo said, I repeat that. And here we are. We're an absolute catastrophe. And we've just thrown a Hail Mary of a decision in putting Igor Tudor in charge. And he literally is carrying the whole club's shoulders. The whole weight of the club on his shoulders to keep us in the Premier League. So God knows where we're going to go with it. Someone funnily asked me today, would you take Pochettino in the summer? And I said, if Vinay and Lange are here, no, not a chance in hell. If Vinay and Lange are gone, then yes, I'll take Pochettino, because then that for me will signify, I hope, some real change of structure, some real people that come in to do the jobs, and Poch would have influenced that. That would have said to me, a manager is now influencing decisions above him, which is what we need. If Poch comes in and works under Vinay and Lange, we're going to be absolutely fucked. Whatever credit Poch has got with the fans, it's going to go flying out the window within a year. So I hope Lange is gone in the summer. We should sack him now, as far as I'm concerned, so the next guy can come in and start preparing for the summer. Vinay, he'll be the last one to go if they go, but he needs to go. His appointment was a joke, and he's done nothing but make poor decisions, poor PR videos. He's been completely undermined by the people above him, which makes his role practically redundant now. He's just a puppet. He's not here to change anything. And do I even trust that if they go, if Charrington stays, the Lewis kids stay, this Nick Butcher guy stay, do I think even then it's going to change? I'm not convinced.
Well, but ultimately not, mate. If it turns out that it was Matthew Collicott who actually had the final say, he spoke to Charrington, who spoke to Butcher, which is what the stories we've heard.
Yeah.
Then the powers that be only trust the financial people before they trust the footballing people. And look, I'm glad they came to the right decision around sacking Thomas Frank, but it's still a terrifying. I don't like I say. I think I said this on Thursday. I don't know what's worse, like the fact that the footballing people are not being listened to, or the fact that the footballing people wanted to keep Thomas Frank. Like I don't know. Like I'm not sure what's worse. Like because
they had to intervene because the club was going to go into the Championship. They had to. They didn't intervene to protect us from getting relegated. They intervened to protect their financial worth. Because if we got relegated, then the balance sheet doesn't look as nice. So they had to do it. They did the right thing. However,
but what I mean is, if these people are still around in the summer and they go, like, who is it that's going to be making? Like, Johan Lang shouldn't be there, right? Because right now you'd hope that they're having conversations around plan A and plan B. Plan A is we're still in the Premier League. Who do we go for in the summer around the manager? Who do we go for in the summer around the transfers? Plan B is we're in the Championship. Jesus Christ, what do we do? Who's going to want to go? Right?
Sean,
on that basis, do you want Johan Lang and Vinay directing those conversations? I don't. And if so, is Matthew Collicott the guy to be directing that conversation? Sure as fuck, no. He's a theme counter, isn't he? So, like, what are we doing?
If Poch comes back, it's not because Vinay and Lange have picked him. It's because the people above have told them, go get Poch back.
And isn't that terrifying? That's terrifying.
Which is why Vinay needs to go and Lange needs to be removed now so that he can begin working with the new manager behind the scenes and identifying the targets so that they can approach the summer transfer window with actual ambition.
So if you sack Vinay now and you sack Johan Lang now, who makes the decision on who is the next version of Vinay and the next version of Johan?
Well, no. Lange goes now. Vinay goes at the end of the season. And the people above him have to pick who the new CEO is. The other thing as well, we made a mistake not keeping Levy around for the transition. I spoke about this a month ago, where if you're going to put a new CEO in, at least let Levy hand the reins. We've done it again with what Johnny said.
Didn't want to, though. Sorry to interrupt, still. He didn't want... This is the whole point. I've said this to Sean since day one. Daniel wanted it like this. Daniel wanted it to put in a position...
Indispensability, yeah.
That, take me out. Go on. I dare you. What are you going to do? Take me out.
Yeah. He's laughing now. Yeah. He's laughing his head off.
Now, they 100% there should have been this transition. Shouldn't have been marched out of the building, right? In this manner that he is now. But anyone can do an outside audit. Enoch or Tavistock, whoever you want to call it, have done outside audits of the performance of the club and what they're doing. Has no one done an outside audit of the last 2.5 years of Johan Lang's underperformance? When I look at the squad, we got too many left wingers, we got too many eights, we're totally unbalanced. 2.5 years, he has failed. That's it. End of story. If you aren't performing, you've been recruited to do a job, you haven't done your job, you've got to go. It's not up for debate. You aren't You aren't the only director of football out there. And you were never a top director of football before you came. I don't get it.
But Johnny, if you had football people on the boards, they would spot that a mile off.
We don't have any. This is exactly my point. One guy, and he ain't got a clue what's going on.
See, regarding the football, I'm torn as to whether removing all the coaches was the right move. And the reason I say this is because at least having someone there, again, it's like the Levy thing. There's a transition. At least the next guy knows what is going on within the camp. However, having said that, there's an argument to say removing them all is actually a good thing as well, because if those coaches have their views on the players and the squad, then the manager, the new one, isn't coming in from a place of neutrality. He's already being influenced as to what these players are like, rather than the new guy coming in and making up his own mind.
Right.
So I'm on the fence.
It's a great segue still.
I'm on the fence with this one.
At the start of the season, 100%. But when you're looking for a couple of pointers with only 12 games to go, you need a little.
Yeah,
Right,
but Johnny,
guys, just let me ask you a segue. It's a good segue. But I want to click this up. Let me just frame it. I haven't actually mentioned the names of these people that are coming in. Johnny, you touched on this in the start of your first answer, and I asked you to sort of step away from it. Stella, I'll bring you in first, but you can say what you were going to say. But let me just frame this for you, because I didn't actually mention it. So Tudor's coaching staff will include, subject to work permits, Ivan Javacic or Javacic as assistant coach. I've got no idea who he is. Ricardo Ragnacki as physical coach, and Tomislav Rogic as goalkeeping coach. Leaving Spurs, along with Frank, are assistant coaches Justin Cochran. Such a disappointment that guy was. Gee whiz. I thought, I had high hopes for him. And John Heitinger, along with head of performance Chris Haslam, as well as first team coach analyst Joe Newton. Heitinger was only appointed last month as Frank's new assistant to take over from Matt Wells, who left for his first managerial role at MLS side Colorado Rapids. Now, just let me sort of finish the framing here. If Igor Tudor's only got 5 days from this morning to get the team ready for Arsenal, he's not going to have a lot of time to get to know his team, to get to know his players, right? I forget who it was I heard speaking about this morning. They were saying, like, I forget who it was. It was the ex West Ham manager. He was on TalkSport. I forget his name. He said, one second, Johnny. Sorry, quickly, I can hear the echo again. He said, you're going to need players. You're going to need to come in and see who it is that you've got. You know, whether they turn up late to training, whether they're on time, whether they go to the gym, whether they eat well, all that stuff. If you're not going to have time to get to know any of that stuff, you're going to have to go and lean on the people who are already there, who are going to give you an insight. Half of those people are about to leave. The people that are remaining are probably loyalists and sycophants of Thomas Frank. And the people that are coming in with him, I don't know who any of those people are. If anyone's got any insights on any of them, please share them in your answer. But it feels like there's a massive disconnect there. Again, with we've moved on from the idea of the club making bad decisions, but in terms of just the manager coming in with his new crop, a couple of other people from the legacy staying around, how are they going to be able to figure out who the leaders are, who are the right personalities, who are the good people when you've got 5 days before your first game in charge? Stell, I'll let you go first, and then I'll get Johnny coming off that.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. They're not going to know. They're going to go in blinded, completely blinded. But I do believe there's two members of the team that are staying, that haven't left, and they're the two that didn't come from Brentford.
The set piece coach and a goalkeeping coach, I think.
Right. So the ones that didn't come from Brentford have stayed, and they've removed all the Brentford lot and Heitinger. So for me, there's pros and cons. The pros are it's a clean slate, no third-party influence on what I see and the relationships I begin to build from day one. The negative is, well, maybe those coaches that have left can actually give you an insight. So it gives you a heads up on watch out for this one. This one's really good if you're playing on the left, maybe not on the right as much. So there's pros and cons to both of it. For me, what the club have done is very clear. There clearly must have been a major fallout between players, manager, and coaches. For them to clean it all out in the club's eyes, they've tried to remove all toxicity, all negativity, and any confrontations. So the players are literally coming in fresh. The people that come in that do the management and the coaching have no connection or resemblance of the previous team in place. The club have made that decision. They must have felt that that was necessary. But then again, we're trusting a club that's known for poor decisions. I personally would have kept one or two around, but been very, very careful who I pick. I would have kept Heitinger, who I've criticised, on the basis that he's been around the least amount of time. So he's had the least amount of time to absorb enough information to then mislead the next coach. Whereas Frank, Cochrane, the others, they would have had 7 months of information to then pass on, which may not be necessarily constructive information. Whereas Heitinger would have had less time to analyse and build relationships. Therefore, he's probably coming from a bit more of a neutral place. There's a balance to be had, and I think the club's missed a trick here. But we will find out over the next 3-4 games. That's my take on it.
Johnny?
I think they made a huge mistake. Look, they should have kept Heitinger, in my opinion, because he's working with Slot of Liverpool. He would have come in. He was brought in because, what's the name, left. But he would have formed his own opinion, right? And it would have been interesting to see that now Frank wasn't there, whether he had a disagreement with Frank, because I definitely saw things that were slightly different when Heitinger came in, and whether or not Frank decided to listen to him or not. But for me, I definitely felt that he brought something in that was, they moved the ball a little bit quicker. It was a little bit more direct. But listen, Ivan, what's his name is? Ivan will probably be Ivan to go home. Ivan to go home after watching this lot fucking train for 2 or 3 days.
Ivan Javicic, I think it's pronounced.
Ivan Javicic, Ivan Javicic. The Croatian, he's a hard taskmaster. He will have them, quite interestingly, he'll have them playing very aggressively, which is exactly how he would want a certain Cuti Romero to play. If Cuti Romero was fit and not banned right now, he would be saying to Cuti Romero, right, I want you to get stuck in. I want you to leave no prisoners. That's how he would be addressing Cuti Romero. Unfortunately, he's only 1 yellow away, I think, from another ban. But he will definitely express that on this squad. But like I said before, the team almost chooses itself. But I think Papasar might get more of a run for the money. But I think the three at the back, I think Jed Spence and Porro are free. I think they will look better in this 3 system, 3 at the back. I think it will suit Jed Spence and Pedro Porro quite nicely. But we're going to have 2 games with a stand-in. And my guess is he will absolutely love Paulinho, and he'll slot Paulinho into a back 3, probably with Mickey van der Ven and Dragusin.
Yeah. I don't think he'll play Paulinho in a midfield role. I think you might be right about the back 3 thing, because he likes to play with 2 attacking midfielders in the midfield too, I think. So from what I've gathered. Exactly.
And also the fact that he knows that Dragusin played in the middle of a 3. So, there's definitely options there. But I think the team more or less picks itself. I can understand what Estelle's saying about, the 3 games. I mean, obviously, you can't give the guy 3 games before sacking him, but you can start to see shoots. The thing is that worries me, he is very limited. But I for one, would be happy to see 2 attacking midfielders. I mean, how long did we spend talking about that bloody double pivot? I just think that they've handicapped Tudor from the off by not keeping at least Heitinger to give him a heads up. He's experienced. He's come, unlike the others, he's a very experienced professional. Okay. He's had a very good career in Dutch football. And he helped Slot before. I think he's better equipped than Cochrane and half the others that have gone. So, well, listen, we'll find out soon enough. But again, I just think this is another decision that they've got wrong. Just another one. Just add it to the list.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Lubington. Coaches coming in, coaches leaving. Not a lot of time for the manager to learn what he's got to work with. Is it the right thing, the wrong thing?
I presume these guys have been around the block with him because he had 11 jobs in 12 years, hasn't he? So it'd be interesting if this team is his team that have gone with him to Lazio, Marseille, Fenerbahce, is it, and all over the place.
It's interesting he brought a goalkeeping coach because I think we've kept the goalkeeping coach. We now have 2 or 3 goalkeeping.
I think we got 3 goalkeeping coaches. Well, we got about 8 goalkeepers, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
None of them are particularly brilliant.
It's odd though, isn't it? Very odd.
So again, listen, if Heitinger did want to stay, I don't get. I've seen some of the comments saying that Heitinger wanted to go. Guy's just arrived. Why would he want to go? I don't get that. But if he did, he did. And if he didn't, then I agree with Johnny. It's a mistake because
do you think maybe he was pissed off he never got the job after being assistant? He wasn't given the role. Do you think maybe
definitely possible? Definitely possible.
Yeah, maybe.
That's a bit of an expectant thing, then, isn't it? I'm only going to, unless something was said to him before I come in, like, if I come, am I going to get it if Thomas Frank leaves? Yes, you will. Okay, promises broken wouldn't be unheard of at Tottenham, but if it's not that, if he was just brought in as the assistant and he thought he was going to get the full gig on the presumption of Thomas Frank sacking, then that's a giant leap of presumption, isn't it, Luba?
It would be. Listen, he's come in as an assistant manager. It depends. Has Tudor wanted him as an assistant manager, or has he said to the board, "I've got my own assistant manager. I don't need."
Well, on that basis, then the club that you can't accuse the club of scrimping on the salary thing because it's cost them a shit ton in compensation, especially if Heitinger was brought in on a contract basis rather than a permanent thing.
Sure. Listen, it's cost the club a lot of money. The club's it's just in disarray, isn't it? The whole thing's in disarray. I keep saying you've got to have top football people on the board who know the club, like you had Hoeneß at Bayern Munich, you had Overmars at Ajax. You need top people, football people on the board to advise board members. This must be the only business that I know of, and forgive me if I've missed a few, but if you look at Levy's valuation of his shares, going for £1 billion for his 29.8, that works out roughly at about 3.3 billion. Does anybody know of any company worth 3.3 billion with no experts in the field that business specializes in? Because I don't. I think it's absolutely staggering, and this is why we're in a mess. This is why we have never functioned as a proper, sustainable, consistent football club. For me, since Venables left in '93, so that goes back to only.
Great comment from Voides. Love that little cheap shot around our old.
So for me, it's no surprise, and until they get football people in, they'll carry on making mistakes.
Yeah. All right. Let's do some super chats, and then we'll move into the next segment of the show. Big up to by the way, there's 1,550 people here, or there has been. This is a little drop at the second, but don't forget to smash the like button, guys. Love any support for the show. If we can get up to like 600 likes tonight before the show finishes, that would be a really nice target to hit. 650. It shouldn't be too difficult. Everyone that's watching, just hit the like. It's free to do. Don't forget to hit the subscribe as well. I'm not sure what we're on the march to. Is it 27k, something like that?
Yeah.
So if we can,
isn't it?
We're 200 off, I think.
200 off 27.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, there must be at least 100 people here that are not subscribed. So just hit the subscribe button again. Free
And
to
it's
do.
free. It's free, guy. When do you ever get any? When do you get this much entertainment for niche? For nothing. Nada.
Exactly. For niche, is that a Hebrew word? You're teaching me these Hebrew words.
It's just a made-up word. Niche, nada, nothing.
Any word that's got an ush sound in it, I always
Ish,
think it must.
Ish, nada, zero.
Adam scored draw lock. He's put in a super big up to you, my man. He says no clue how it will work, but we know when it ends. Yeah. Look, it's not going to take us long to figure out whether we're playing against Charlton next season or Chelsea. It's going to be interesting. Big up to you, Adam. Appreciate you, my man. Chew Deeney's in the house and has put in a super sticker. So with that, you get the super sticker train. Big up to you, mate. Chew to you, buddy. Chew to you, my man. Always here, always supporting all the channels. Big up to you, buddy. Ulrika as well is in the house. Big up to you. Ratatata, Ulrika Car. Out in Australia, get out of the bath, pour yourself a G&T, dry your bits. We got some Spurs 5 to deliver. Big up to you, Ulrika. Very generous, very supportive. Stuart Marcus has said, big up to you, Stuart. Very generous as well, my man. He says, evening, fellas. Top show as always. I'd be interested to know how many points each of you think we will accumulate from our remaining 12 games. Personally, I think 14 to 16 is realistic. If you don't mind, Stuart, we'll keep that one back and we'll do that in the last sort of 10 to 15 minutes.
Lubo has forbidden us from point scoring.
Very good. No more point scoring allowed. Big up to you, Stuart. I'll come back to. We'll do that towards the end of the show, mate. Big up to you, buddy. NSG has come in from Denmark. Big up to you, NSG. I love that picture of Alf, one of my favorite programs as a kid. If we can't get 12 points from 12 games, we deserve to go down.
Yeah,
I agree. Well, at the same time, I don't know where we've I've thought for a long time. I don't know where our next win is coming from. Certainly not this weekend, in my opinion, unless there's a miracle. Big up to you, though. A user says Spurs' motto is Tudor is to do, which is brave, considering we usually dare, do, and then don't. We are an absolute joke. Everyone is laughing at us.
That's a great motto. Dare, do, don't.
Big up to you, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Very generous as well. £5, mate. Very, very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Paul Brown has said the very fact that Tottenham Hotspur flirted with relegation is mind-bogglingly naive and negligible. Not for the first time, though, is it, mate? We did it last season. It's insane. It's incredible how far this club has fallen down the pecking order over the last 24 months.
Sure, last season we were 16 points clear of relegation, though. I think the difference this year is the teams that are in the relegation fight are better.
They're doing better. Yeah.
They're doing better.
Yeah, but still, isn't it
and West Ham have actually got some form in them. That if West Ham were like just sort of dead and buried and like doing their usual first half of the season, form might be sitting there thinking we're fine. But the fact that they've got 7th or 8th level form in the Premier League.
Isn't that the least? Sorry, I was just going to say, isn't that wasn't last season the least amount of points a team has got without being relegated? Just for clarity.
Yeah. 38 points would have had you relegated in like 10 of the previous 20 seasons or something.
I think the teams around us as well are trying harder to stay up this year. West Ham have invested. They've invested in their squad to try and stay up. Nottingham Forest have sacked the manager like we have to try and stay up. I think there's a bigger effort from teams as well to try and stay up. Whereas last year it was pretty much a foregone conclusion. They were all done.
Yeah, in terms of effort, in terms of stability, in terms of effort, in terms of fan belief, in terms of injuries, in terms of basically 9 out of 10 different categories of observation, you'd say that Tottenham probably deserve to go down more than the others that are fighting at this stage.
Mate, and it's other than Gallagher, what did we do in January?
Brought in a kid. Yeah.
2 kids.
3, 4. 4, I think.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I forget about those ones. Yeah. Whatever.
Well, there was one from Chelsea, one from West Ham, James Wilson. That's 3.
Every player West Ham signed went into their first team and starting team.
But isn't that because Johan Lang, when we heard about this dual the dual DOF thing, that they were like Paratici was in charge of first team recruitment and Johan Lang was in charge of the youth the youth ID. So he's put all this work in. Paratici sailed off into a different world, and when Paratici has come forward with his opinions on let's go for Akliouche, I'm sorry, but if the two of them were given those different, and we heard about this because I asked the question, there's going to be massive overlap and there's going to be conflicts, and people are like, no, they're clearly delineated line items on their responsibility. Paratici's in charge of the first team recruitment. Cool. If that's the case, then when Paratici says sign Akliouche, Johan Lang shouldn't be able to veto it on Paqueta because Paqueta's 29 years old and you're only supposed to be finding the 18-year-olds, mate. That was your job. That was what was explained to us, that they have different rules, different roles, and they'll only be in, like, it will work out beautifully. But
signed a kid from Chelsea.
Equal votes in the decision-making process.
I mean, he signed a kid from Chelsea. So what do we do? Should we? I'm surprised they're not having an interview special with a 15 and 14-year-old and a 16-year-old. You know, because that's what they're going to be rolling out now to fill in the gaps. You know, look, Johan's doing great stuff. He just signed a player from Chelsea. Great stuff. Right now, we need to stop. We need a safety net to stop us going into the championship, right? Where was the action at? No one's interested in signing players for tomorrow right now. Right now is about right now. It's about survival right now, right? And we don't see it. He's not capable. He's just not capable. We knew it. We knew it when he signed. We knew it last year. We've known it. How many fans keep saying the same thing? And he's still bloody there. There's a reason why Daniel bought back Paratici. Unfortunately, Paratici didn't know that Daniel was on his last legs.
Yeah. There you go. Big up to that man for that super chat. Sai Daktar. Interesting name. Great name. I think I'm not sure I'm saying it correctly, but it's a great name either way. Can we have a parade if we stay up?
Yeah, 100%.
Only if Arsenal don't win the league.
Yeah. Bottle it again, parade. Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, can we just say, whilst we're having all the bad luck, you know, they've played in the FA Cup. They've played Portsmouth, they played Wigan, and now they're playing Mansfield. I mean, seriously, man, honestly.
Yeah. They're gonna walk themselves into the quarterfinals, aren't they? And probably get an easy one then as well. Sanilla's in the house with just a £10 super sticker. Big up to you, Sanilla. Very generous, my man. Very, very generous, buddy. Always here, always supporting as well. Thank you very much, Sanilla. Appreciate you. And Mr. Spock's office, big up to you, buddy. Has said, whispering romantically, 7-point manifesto.
So he's saying, Vin, I should have worked from that, idiots. I'd every chance I'd have
idiots, you big baby.
Stop
being a baby. Babies.
We reached out to him to come on the show. They turned it down. They turned down everybody's requests.
Lubo takes multi-billion-pound businesses and their directors and CEOs rejecting invites to appear on small podcasts personally. Just like Lubo's real vendetta, his arch enemy arc against Daniel Levy started when he turned him down to rejig the club shop in the 90s.
Yeah. 2002.
If he said yes to that, you'd be a stauncher defender of him than I am, but he didn't, you know. Anyway, big up to all the super chats. Listen, I will come back to yours, Stuart, in a moment, mate. In a little while, when we do do some sort of predictor thing, I'm going to get up the fixtures. Have you guys seen this other story from? Actually, whilst we're talking about the current state of the club, before we get into that, I'm going to get the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust statement up. I'm not going to be able to share it on the screen because for some reason I've changed my browser.
I've got it. I had it sent to me in prep about the thing. Are you talking about the things that have been left out by the club?
This is from the 11th of February that you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
3 or 4 days ago. Yeah. 5 days ago.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want me to call out the whole statement? I
was just thinking. Look at the things that the club have, apparently they've accused the club of leaving out. No,
Sean, can you read it out as the key bits? Because I haven't heard the statement at all.
Oh, yeah, it's not that long. I'll read it for you now. The Trust welcomes the decision to part ways with Thomas Frank. While his appointment initially appeared to be a positive step, it has not delivered the progress or results the club urgently needs, and decisive action was required. We now face another rebuild whilst we are fighting relegation. This is a crucial moment for Tottenham Hotspur. Strong leadership is needed at every level of the club to restore belief and direction for both the players and the supporters. The club statement that the board concluded this morning that a change, quote, a change at this point of the season is necessary, unquote, raises questions as to why this conclusion has only been reached today after closure of the January transfer window. It is clear. Sorry, Johnny, I can hear the echo again. One second, mate. It is clear that not taking decisive action sooner and failing to strengthen in the January transfer window has contributed to our slide down the table and left the club facing a very real risk of relegation. No manager can succeed without proper backing. Serious financial investment in the squad is essential, and as it is plain to see, the team is down to the bare bones. The immediate priority must be appointing a manager who can lift the team out of the relegation battle we are currently in, but changing the manager alone won't solve our problems. Ambition, investment, and strong leadership must follow. We need a clear long-term plan built around attacking football that plays to our strengths, rebuilds confidence, and helps unite the fan base. The next appointment must bring stability, belief, and a clear footballing identity, and it must be backed with the resources needed to succeed. The club needs to show its fans it has ambition and is serious about getting out of the relegation battle, rebuilding the squad, winning trophies, and competing for Champions League places on a regular basis, and restoring Tottenham Hotspur to where it belongs.
This isn't the one I was talking about, Sean. I'm talking about a different one.
That just sounds like
Sean,
everything they've ever said in the past.
Hang on a
again,
second. So
Johnny,
the one
I've
I'm
got it
talking
here.
about, hang on a second. The one I'm
I've got it
talking
here if
about
you want it.
is publishing a full record of the points raised to help ensure accountability that allows members and the wider fan base to understand how the trust is fulfilling its role on their behalf. Transparency is integral to our role in our dealings with the club. For that reason, we are also publishing a list of paragraphs which the Tottenham Hotspur Trust asked to be included in the minutes, but which the club have decided not to include. Points admitted from the minutes. Under Tottenham Hampstead 5 principles of ownership, survey lines not include. The club declined to include the descriptions of our 5 principles of ownerships. Paragraph not included. Fans are concerned at the current position and the direction of the club. The team is not winning and the change is not visible. Having watched just 4 home wins in this year, this anxiety and pessimism is not surprising. Fans are genuinely concerned at the risk of relegation. The belief generated by the Europa League win has now been totally lost. Fans are concerned at the perceived lack of ambition and the results and performances and the failure to strengthen the team despite injuries to key first-team players. Paragraph not included, another one. The club has not fulfilled the financial statements demonstrating that it was able to generate profits since 2018 and needed the cash generated by the share issue for cash flow purposes. This point was discussed later in the meeting under the heading Finance. Under future-proof success and young player development, another paragraph not included. Tottenham Hotspur Trust observed that young players were not coming through the academy to the first team. Players are on loan repeatedly, despite injuries and the current shortage of players. Players like Luka Vuskovic had not been recalled from their loans, nor had any other players. Another paragraph not included. Tottenham Hotspur Trust said fans want to see authenticity to stick to Spurs' DNA and the style of play that transcended as a golden thread from the youth system right through to the men's first team. I'm nearly finished. Paragraph not included. The Tottenham Hotspur Trust also noted a slightly higher sentiment from supporters towards sustainability, which may reflect the underlying infrastructure possessed by the club. However, this alone will not make the club successful, which explains why the score remains low overall. Fans first, a relationship between the club and supporters, line not included. Basically, why have the board not included.
A lot of these things are just like sort of like Lubo's manifesto stuff. It's kind of like airy fairy.
No. But their comments, what the reply has been, they go to the trust and they have the meeting, but they've left a whole load of things out of that meeting in the minutes of the meeting.
Right,
These were the minutes of the meeting, but they've left out quite a considerable amount of things that were discussed at the meeting. So the question is,
fair enough.
Why?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and to be entirely honest, looking at the things that weren't included, the answer is I don't really care. All of the things that are in here.
Okay.
The only thing in here that might be slightly interesting is the bit that the club have not filed financial statements demonstrating that it was able to generate profit since 2018 and needed the cash generated by the share issue for cash flow purposes. So, like, I mean, I don't think there's a determination or a requirement to file financial statements that give any more included information than you absolutely have to, because when you public, like the consolidated accounts don't have to show all of the
you don't have to show that.
It's the minimum amount. So again, is the person that's writing this, are they saying that from a place of knowledge, or are they a little bit bitter about something? The rest of these points though are just like, we've observed that young players not coming through from the academy to the first team. Maybe that's because they're not ready. Like, what's that about?
No, but my point here, Sean, is like the whole point of the minutes is to include the stuff, right? Not produce the minutes and leave out a whole load of things that were relevant to be discussed. Because does that not then look like the Tottenham Hotspur Trust haven't been leading and putting to the board the things that they were concerned about? You get where I'm coming from? Yeah.
I hear you. Fair enough.
Sean, can I carry this on? Because there's a little bit here further on.
Yeah, there's a little bit more.
Paragraph, and this is important. This is really important. Paragraph not included. The trust asked to see the underlying KPIs behind each of the strategic principles. These have not yet been agreed by the club internally. The trust stated that the detail of these key KPIs were important. If the strategic objectives were geared towards winning trophies, this should be directly referenced by the KPIs. If, however, the KPIs referenced European qualification, a stated desire of the previous leadership, this could suggest that the club was prioritising financial performance over football performance. And this is what we've been saying, I've been saying, that this has been wrong with ENIC since they bought the club.
Yeah. Well, key performance indicators, though, are internal mechanisms, aren't they? They're like they're the things that people are judged on for your, like, I wouldn't want it if a customer asked me, right, if I owned a business, or if
give me your KPI.
No, yeah, exactly. Give me your KPI, right? Why? Because I think it's going to show you that you're not your best interests are not my best interest. Your best interest to try and make as much money as possible. I'm sorry, like that's not. I don't think that's necessarily something that the trust has the right to see. I think it would be nice if the club shared it, for sure. 100% I do. But in terms of, like, just because you ask doesn't mean you always get. And that's not just a case for a football club. That's a case for business generally. I'm not defending it. And like I say, I'm not defending the club at all right now. The club is an absolute shambles. But a lot of what I've just read in those things that were missing, there's not a lot of value in there anyway. Like saying that we've observed that no one's broke through from the first team to the from the academy to the first team. Okay. If they were ready, they'd be playing. Do you really think that the club wouldn't be playing the players if they were ready? Of course, the club would want to be playing those players if they were ready. Maybe the manager, maybe the first team coach, maybe the whoever has sat there and said, "Look, I just don't rate him. He's not ready yet. He's not physical enough." The Premier League has gone to a new level of strength, and a lot of our young players. I wouldn't be surprised, for what it's worth, if the average time, if the way that the Premier League conducts itself as a physical endeavour right now, I wouldn't be surprised to see fewer and fewer of the kind of the slighter framed kids have to break through early on in their career. I wouldn't be surprised to see those things delayed by a couple extra years until they fill out as men, because it's only Byfield that's broken through. And by the way, they're even wrong in what they're saying, because Byfield has broken through this year, hasn't he? In a few moments, I don't know if he made his debut before the 3rd of February. I forget.
No, I don't think he had. I think that was his debut.
Maybe. Okay, fair enough. But that's my point. But Byfield's a bit of a lump, isn't he? So he's more physical. He can maybe handle that stuff. But just because the supporters trust is saying we expect to see kids coming through. I don't know. It would be interesting if there was value in the things that were left out, but I'm not seeing any valuable questions or statements in those things that they're pissed off about the omission of. I'd like to know why it's an interesting point that Johnny makes and that they're making, which is why is it that they didn't put those things in? But for me, like, it's not as if there's too much value in those statements or those paragraphs that the fan base missed out on not hearing. You know,
can we just say it for what it is? One day the Spurs Supporters Trust is going to wake up and realise they are completely insignificant in the eyes of this board, and all they're doing is just putting out a waste of energy and rhetoric that's going to get them absolutely nowhere. The trust need to grow a pair of balls. If they mean business, take action. All right. They've had 2 protests this year. They've turned up to none of them. Did they even come to the protest last year? No. Right. So the trust is great at looking like a political organisation in the eyes of the fans. Ooh, the trust wrote a letter to. Who cares? Who cares? The only time the trust have ever had any kind of significant impact is when they instigated a petition. They galvanised all the fan base to back it, which we did, to stop the furlough of staff during COVID. It's the only time I can remember the trust actually forcing the hand of the owners. Otherwise, all you get is letters, emails. To me, this is the trust throwing its toys out the pram because they're trying to feel significant, because in the eyes of the board, they are completely insignificant. This ownership couldn't give a shit about the trust. It couldn't give a shit about us fans.
No, I agree with you on it.
If the trust want change, grow a pair. That's the reality of it. Otherwise, stick to what you're good at. Helping fans for away day travel, helping fans with ticketing issues, and assisting our disabled fans for needs that they require. That's it. That is what you're there for. If you want to step out of that,
yeah, but that's not satisfying for them, is it? They want to feel like it's egos again, isn't it? I don't know.
It's all for show for me.
I don't know any of the people specifically. I couldn't name a single person on the board, so forgive me if any of them are watching and it sounds like we're being harsh. I feel like, you know, I agree with Stel. Like, your purpose is to be a conduit between the club and the fans, but in areas that you're asking for more from, I don't think you're entitled to know those things. I don't think you're entitled to know the KPIs of the football club unless the football club wants to share them personally.
If the trust is fed up of the board, the academy players not breaking into the first team, the merry-go-round of married managers, not backing managers, recruitment, if the trust really cares about that, then you need to do something about it other than telling the world, hey, we wrote a letter to them and they don't care, so we're going to write an email and they're not going to care about that. So next year we're going to write another letter. It doesn't work.
But again, I wouldn't I'll play devil's advocate on that one. It's not like, and I'm mates with the guys, or mates with at least, you know, Billy specifically on the Change for Tottenham thing. I don't know many of the others on there, but they've tried a different route. They don't have any access to the football club. The football club have told them if you want dialogue, you have to go through the supporters trust. And so they've gone, fuck it, we'll just do it a different way. We'll go more aggressive. We'll share emails on Twitter and say, go on, hammer Vinay's email, hammer whoever's email, tell them how you feel. That hasn't worked either. And neither has the attempt really to get any protest going. There seems to be a bit of a lethargy in the fan base regarding these sorts of things, just generally, doesn't it?
It shouldn't have been left to Change for Tottenham or the original Leave It Out protesters to come up with a way of trying to force matters to change. The trust from day one should have been leading this. They should have been spearheading the charge on this, but it meant stepping out of their comfort zone and having to deal
breaking the
relationship. Many members who 100%. All pay for the privilege of having a vote as to what they do. So because the trust is effectively in some ways politicized, they haven't 100%. Spearheaded it. 100%. So they need to step out of their comfort zone.
I agree. Otherwise, that's what I'm saying. It comes down to egos, right? Like people in the trust obviously have relationships. They have connections with people in the football club. They don't want to break that because, you know, that's their relationship. They want to feel like they're involved. Again, I'm speculating here, but like for me, I feel like there's both situations, both styles of protest, both styles of resistance towards the club's endeavours don't land. Neither of them do, Stel. Your version of protest that was much more obviously specific, but also filtered, Then the change for Tottenham that was much more open umbrella, captured more people, but only temporarily. And also it was up for huge interpretation what change for Tottenham meant. That landed once. And then the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust that do it the official way don't get anywhere either. So it's not like any particular method that's been attempted is working.
Sean, it's because it's become political. It's like politics right now. The left is split between three parties. The right is now fractured between three parties. Rupert Lowe's launched a party as well today, so that's gone even more. It's the same with the protest or action for change. You've got the trust doing their thing. The original protesters who are still adamant that it was all about Enoch and Levy out. Then you've got change for Tottenham that is trying to encompass many, but doesn't really encompass.
But none of them land. None of them land.
Exactly, which is why the trust should have led it. See, the trust for me does a great job when it comes to ticketing matters, right? I've got a friend who needed help because he was end of life. The club were being a little bit difficult with the ticketing. They went to the supporters trust and that got dealt with quick. So they're really good at that kind of stuff.
Okay, but then isn't the concern that if they then become the version of the trust that you want to see, which is more like what you used to be and what Change for Tottenham have tried to be, that those other things become diluted in their effectiveness?
Well, what they're trying to do is to tell the board this ain't good enough regarding the football. This ain't good enough regarding the football.
What I'm saying is, if you want to have,
how many letters and emails can you write, Sean, before you get?
But I'm just, again, that's what I'm saying, though, right? But if you want the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust to be the guy that can fix the situation for your friend who had end of life, and they do a fantastic job with that.
Yeah.
At the same time, if the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust starts to say, let's get a little bit more chaotic, let's get a little bit more anarchistic in how we go about this protest against the club, all of a sudden, in going in that path, you go in that direction, suddenly the club will be less likely to listen to them for the favours that the fans need for things like your friend. So you got to pick a lane. You can't be all things to all people. You can't run with the foxes and hunt with the hounds in lifestyle.
Okay, then they need to stop doing what they're doing regarding these emails and these letters to the board. Because in my view, the trust, ever since the trust went down this road, they've been getting a bashing from fans. Fans have been saying, what's the point of you lot? What? Another email, another letter, don't you get it? I never used to question the trust until they went down this road. And they continued down this road that leads to
I agree with you. They need to pick a lane. They're a sort of, it's like a magnolia paint of a protest of like a frustration that doesn't get anywhere, and people think that you're not worth. There's no point in you doing that. So then they get the disrespect from doing that, but then they also they don't want to burn the bridges with the club regarding the other things. So maybe the protests and the frustrations shouldn't be handled by the supporters trust. It should be handled by something else, which doesn't have those same bridges to burn with regards doing the things that the trust do that are very good.
So I know someone that was high up in the trust, right? They're no longer part of it because they did what they wanted and that's it. Their time is done. And they said to me that a number of people wanted to take a much stronger pathway with regards to dealing with this ownership. Unfortunately, the amount of resistance from within stopping them from doing so meant that any other form of direction it wasn't going to happen. And they couldn't get the internal votes to even back it. So people pay for membership, you get the right to vote, and the majority of members, the majority of people who pay money to be part of the trust, they vote against taking action against the board, which is why.
Well, there you go then.
Right. So therefore,
you can't be all things to all people, mate. If you want to have relation, I think you might be not listening to my point. If you want to have,
no, I agree with you, Sean.
So, like, if the club do wonderful things with the trust, if the trust do wonderful things for the fans that can't get a ticket when they need one or whatever, disabilities, all those sorts of things, stick to that. Be worthwhile in that particular department, and then the people within the trust who want to feel more strongly break away. Don't involve like two separate things, because if you want the club to listen to you on one thing,
they can't break away. They can't. They have to step away completely.
That's what I mean. Step away, right? Step away from it.
Well, they have.
Let the support. Fine.
Sure,
so let the support. Okay, cool. So then let the supporters trust just focus on the things that are the less toxic stuff, and just focus on the building of bridges and keep the maintenance of those bridges in certain areas, and let someone else deal with all of we're not happy with the football club's leadership stuff. Let something else deal with that, and then they can be as toxic or as chaotic or as aggressive or whatever as they want, and then make that thing a monetized process as well, so that those people can have some funding to be able to create noise that's visual and visceral and a representation of how those fans feel.
Sean,
I don't think that you can do both in the same department.
When you've got members that have signed up for something different, then yes, because the people that signed up to the membership didn't sign up to be a full-blown right.
Exactly.
So I agree with you, but unfortunately, the trust continues to do these emails and these letters, and then moan that things have been left out of the minutes of the meeting because they're trying to please the people that aren't the membership.
Sure. Yeah, they're trying to be all things to all people.
They're trying to look good in the eyes of me, who isn't a member.
Exactly.
But all you're doing is looking like you're weak.
Yeah, it's a diluted version of everything, right? Because they don't want to lose the bridges. So I agree with you 100%. I think we're on the same page. Johnny, Lubo, you are actually a member of the Supporters Trust.
Yeah.
Well, what's your take on it?
I think that the trust, I know that they started off getting regular 3-month meetings with the club. From what I can gather through the years, and I joined the trust in the first meeting. I'm a lifetime member, which goes back to I think it goes back to something like 2003, when the meetings were in the Irish.
Well, he said it goes back to Christ there for a minute.
No.
We've been going that long.
Yeah, no. The meetings at first, Daniel Wynne was the chairman. They were held in the Irish Centre in Pretoria Road, just around the corner from White Hart Lane Station. And they were good. And, the club, the trust do a lot of good things. And I think that if they start getting involved in a confrontation with the club, then they're going to end up, because of the way the club are. And I've got to tell you something. I've just, from what I've heard through the years, the trust have not been treated with the sort of respect they deserve by the club. I think the way Daniel Levy and Donna Cullen treated the trust, for me, I thought was an absolute bloody disgrace. But then that's how they looked on fans anyway, so it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. And I think the trust do a lot of good work. And I think the only time that any protest ever makes any difference at this club is when it's inside the grounds. And the fans are screaming, and that's the only time that anything ever gets changed. And that's football. That's the first team related change, rather than the owners changing the way that they do anything. Because these protests are not going to lead to owners to the owners selling. What you hope is that the owners will look at what the fans are actually saying and actually consider them and say, well, are we doing this incorrectly? Should we be changing? Should we be listening to the fans? So I think personally, I don't blame the trust for sending letters of dissatisfaction. Their fans, they've got an open communication line to the club. Let them send it. They are entitled to ask the club where their priorities lie, whether it's financial or whether it's football. Financial.
Lubo, the club don't give a shit what the trust says to them.
No, but that's fine.
That's obvious. That's obvious.
Yeah, sure. But listen, they can send a letter providing it's eloquent, and why not? Why not?
Lubo,
let them get some sort of. Let them
Lubo, this trust for me.
This trust.
20 years, this trust, right? They're weak, right? And they simply blow whichever way the wind goes. That's what they're about. I remember 3 years ago, we were outside the club shop doing a protest, ENIC out, Levy out. The trust refused to protest against the owners, refused to protest against Levy. What were they doing? 50 meters up the road near the Jamaican Caribbean jerk, what do you call it? Pop-up stall. They set up a protest there, right? A trust-led protest against the ownership of Newcastle. I'm like, hold on a minute. So you're going to galvanise everyone to protest against the owners of Newcastle, but you won't join a protest against the club that you're meant to be representing. Lubo, it's ridiculous. I don't get it. I don't understand where they think, how they think. So they can do it, but they chose that one because that looks good in front of the eyes of the media. Whereas our one, we might get told off. It's ridiculous.
Roy's in the chat, and he's been to every one. He's been to every protest.
What, the Newcastle one or the?
No. He's
who's in the chat?
Yeah, Roy always comes to
Roy,
protest.
who's on the trust.
Yeah, Roy's.
Is that Roy or Roy? Which Roy are we talking about?
What's his name in the chat? What's his name?
History of Tottenham Hotspur.
History of Tottenham Hotspur.
There we go.
Bring it up. I can't see it.
Can I say to people in the chat, if the trust wants to negotiate better terms for the fans,
Sean, 946.
Sean, I just want to quickly say, there's people in the chat saying the trust want to negotiate better terms for ticketing for the fans, so they can't be doing that. Fine, then don't call out the board with these letters and emails. Then just stay out of it. Don't get involved. You can't have it both ways.
You're more than welcome to come on for a show if you want on a Thursday night, Roy. If you fancy coming on and giving your say, mate. Like I say, I don't know anyone from the trust, so there's no personal slights. Yeah,
can I say I praised the trust for the work they do for ticketing and the travel arrangements. What the trust does in that aspect, they're very, very competent, and they get results. I'm specifically talking about if the trust now wants to take on the owners with regards to the direction of the footballing matters, you can't have it both ways. Because how can you call out the board, but at the same time want better for the fans with tickets? Well, you're causing yourself problems then, aren't you? By doing
the situation they've got, and they are conflicted there.
And that's the weakness. That is a lack of strong leadership. That's what weak leadership looks like, unfortunately for the trust.
Roy, if you or any of your colleagues want to come on to the Spurs Five or the Spurs Talk Show, then I'm not sure about the others if they want to have on yours, whatever. But if you want, just reach out to me on
100%.
Yeah, reach out to me on Spurs Talk Show on Twitter. Happy to bring you on.
It's all right, we DM each other. I can get hold of Roy easily.
By the way, Roy's got a great Facebook page. The entire history of Tottenham, his knowledge on the history of Tottenham, second to none. He's really,
I mean, we should get him on.
Yeah, always welcome to have. We're not sitting here having our opinion. We're not and closing the door on the counter. So feel free to come on, my man, anytime you'd like. Couple more super chats, guys, and then we'll do the last segment of the show, which is one we're going to do with Stuart when how we're going to get out of relegation. Ulrika Ratatata says, in hindsight, should Tottenham have started this season with Ange and binned him in October when he failed, rather than go all in on Frank and his team? Any flip-flop there? That's an interesting one. Anyone with hindsight would have rather have had Ange Postecoglou at the start of the season? I don't think he'd still be here if he was here.
No.
Yeah, all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Decent club. Do
you know what? I think we should make a rule. Now we can draw a line in the sand. No more Ange and Frank chat because they're both gone now. We can actually draw that line.
Do you know what I'm actually going to do for next season? Is I'm actually going to get like an Excel document, and everyone that has a stance and a take, I'm actually going to note it and timestamp it, so that if you then want to fundamentally change your stance on a particular topic, you have to update the Excel sheet so we know where everyone stands at any point in time. So no one can otherwise, because my memory's not good enough anymore to be able to keep track of all the flip-flopping that goes on in this panel. It's absolutely insane.
Sean, it's called reassessment.
I used to call it flexibility of thought, Luvo. Flexibility
benefit of hindsight.
Yeah.
Our spreadsheets will be A5. Lubo's will be A3.
It'll be A1, I think. Be a giant bloody billboard outside Luvo's house, updating every day. Big up to you, Ulrika. Thank you very much for the super chat. Luke Wardle says, big up to you, Luke. He says the trust have been the trust have been taking a something to a sword fight for years, completely useless in Luke's opinion. Big up to you, Luke. Like I say, I'd like to get one of the trust members on. I don't know any of them, so I'd like to meet one of them and find out what's going on. We'll see if we can figure that one out. Big up to you.
I spoke to the guy, one of the heads, who had to step down because the trust wasn't prepared to step up their game and push on. So within the camp, there's conflict on this. There's
Sure,
within the
sure
camp,
there always is, right? Well, when is there ever a universal agreement or anything?
which is normal. Yeah, it's normal.
Yeah.
It's normal. It's normal.
To dare is to do F all. Big up to you, Poxy. I think you changed your name again there. Big up to you, my man. He says, like Lubo, I'm more head half hairy than half bald.
There you go. Glass half full.
Glass half full, head half bald.
Glass half full. Always glass half full.
Glass half bald.
Always.
Very good, very good. And London says the entire fan base needs to galvanise and Enoch out before the next permanent appointment is made. There can be no more chances. If they appoint Pochettino in the summer, the fan base will get behind that. That's their latest get out of jail free card. As is the fact there's a World Cup, so it's difficult to
100%, mate. Excuses
the
incoming. Couldn't get any saved because players didn't want to sign before the World Cup.
Can I ask you all a question, right? Especially you, Sean. Especially you.
Oh, here we go.
Right. No, it's a serious question.
Yeah.
Right now, today, arguably, this is the worst we've seen it under Enoch in the last 15 odd years. Okay. When they took over, the club needed restructuring. Done.
Mm-hmm.
Right. On the brink of a relegation dogfight, an awful transfer window in January, clowns running the footballing operation at the echelons of Tottenham, How is it even now fans aren't turning in numbers against this ownership and they're tolerating it? What is the breaking point for our fan base?
Well, look, for me personally, again, I'll make this very clear. I saw someone in the chat saying it's refreshing to hear Sean has done a U-turn on Levy. I was like, I ain't done a U-turn on Levy at all. The first thing I said today was this would never have happened if Daniel Levy was still here. I only ever defended Daniel Levy. And that was only against the unreasonable criticism. I never said he was perfect. I said there was loads of flaws in his game. But I think he was unreasonably.
Well, we did finish 17th under Levy, Sean.
Yeah, I know. We also won the Europa League, but but that's where I would draw my own line in the sand. I don't have any attachment to Enoch, especially not the latest version of it. I think they're an absolute shambles, and I can't stand it. I can't stand the fact that Nick Butcher has been given some sort of level of authority in decision making because he's the son-in-law of the current incarnation of the Lewis children that's running the show behind the scenes or whatever else. I also can't stand the fact that we've all heard from various sources over the last few days that actually Joe Lewis stepped back in to make the decision recently and that Vivian and Charlie had to go back to daddy. I hate all of the BS, the PR, all that stuff. I can't stand any of it. So there's no love.
What's the breaking point is the question though. What's the
thing, right? I genuinely, but I think this is a part of like society right now. I don't know if this is what they're putting in the water. I don't know if it's what they're putting in the clouds. I don't know if it's what they're putting in the food. But like, I think that society generally has become quite docile, and I think they tolerate things for a bunch of different reasons. Let's just look at what's happening in America with the Epstein stuff. You had 1 million people that got together and from all over the country and went and protested outside Washington, D.C. when they thought that the election was stolen, right? No one's gone and stood outside against the idea that the world is run by a certain type of people that are into all sorts of horrendous stuff. I think that the world is just becoming incredibly docile and lackluster in their frustration. I think you could say the same in most countries around the politics of how they feel like their countries are being led. I'm sure it's exactly the same in other sporting endeavors as well. I don't think that there is. For me, I think the natural conclusion for me is that people just don't care enough because they got enough of their own problems to worry about, and they're distracted more and more by their inability to pay the bills, their inability to feel happy and content with what they have, so they can throw their energy behind something like an Enoch out thing. I don't know what the line in the sand is still, but I don't think we're there yet. Otherwise, we would have seen it. We would have seen more this season. This season has been a shit show from day one, from game week 3 or game week 4. It's been horrendous. At least last season, we had a European sort of trophy to pursuit to get stuck behind, and you still managed to get 2,500 people together for one event, or for one. You say 2 events, maybe there were slightly less numbers on the second one. This season has been absolutely worse and worse and worse, and yet what was there 100 people at the protest that was well organized online? I don't know. Like, for me, I just think that people are not interested in throwing what energy they have left after their long hard day struggling to pay their bills to go and fight a fight that's not going to. They have no chance of winning until the owners decide enough's enough.
Yeah, but isn't the whole point of the fan base galvanizing together to force the owners to get to a point where they've had enough. Like,
well, I told you before, though. I've always said this.
What is the breaking
there's
point?
There's no evidence. There is no evidence of any Premier League team's owner settling for pennies in the pound on their valuation because fans have told them that they're not welcome. It took Mike Ashley 15 years to go, and he only went when he got his valuation. And by the way, his valuation was 10% of what Tottenham's is. So there's a lot higher. There's a lot of bigger pool of potential buyers. The amount of people that can actually afford.
Hold on, Sean. If fans boycott, the value of the club goes down. If the toxicity around this club begins to portray a really negative environment,
right, still, but you feel more strongly about it than anyone.
You can force that valuation down on them, so they lose money.
Right, but you feel more strongly about it than anyone else. But you still buy your own season. You still renew your season ticket. So you can't, like, if you're asking that question of me and others, then I'll hold up a mirror. When's your line? When are you not going to renew your season ticket?
But the reason I purchased my season ticket is for two reasons. One, I can protest in that stadium and show my discontent to what's going on. And secondly, why should I be the one to leave the club and not them? Why should I give up my support?
Right. But you're answering your own question then, aren't you?
But then I don't buy food.
But they will be saying the same. Why should they leave the club because you're not happy? They could say the same.
Yeah, but Johnny, they lose money on me because I don't.
But still, you're frustrated. No, they don't lose money on you, mate, because they sell. If you put your ticket up on the exchange, they sell it. And they get an extra 30 quid out of it. So they would probably love it.
No, sure. They lose money on me when I go because I don't spend any money in the stadium. I don't spend any money in the shop.
That's fine. That's fine, mate. But at the end of the day, still, right, you give them $2,000 a year or 1,500 quid a year. When you're saying when is enough enough,
£1,000 a year,
whatever it is, you're saying when is enough for everybody else, but you yourself, who feels more staunchly and strongly about it than most, aren't willing to do the ultimate sacrifice of giving up your season ticket.
Because that helps them. Sorry, that helps them. Because if I give up my season ticket, what kind of a fan is going to purchase it?
So then, how are you expecting everyone else to not have the same justification as you have?
Justification for what?
The reason why you're not giving up your own ticket. What, like, how can you expect?
I go to the protest, Sean. I go to the protest. If there's a boycott, I boycott. I get involved in that. They don't. There's a difference between.
You still buy your ticket.
Yeah,
that's how you always say. That's how they get hurt, right?
If I knew,
so I'm not having a crack at you for doing what you're doing.
But I'm justifying my situation.
The answer to your question is found within your own solution, right? You are still prepared to go and you feel stronger about this than the majority of people, yet you're still prepared to buy your season ticket. Therefore, I would imagine that everybody else who's not quite where you are still feels the same way, still justifies it the same way.
Sure.
Guys, can I
hold on 1 second, Hugo. No. I want to push back on that. If I give up my season ticket, guaranteed the person that takes it will not feel as strongly as me. That person will buy merchandise, will buy food and drink, and will be more resilient and accepting of ENIC. You will get exactly what ENIC leaves. If I leave that stadium, ENIC will get exactly what they want. With me, they get half of what they want. They don't get the full package.
I'm saying that everybody else that feels the same way as you, everyone else that feels as strongly as you still buys their ticket, still goes to the games, right? And ultimately, I think we've all agreed that the only way that you can lower the valuation to increase the pool. So you asked the question, where's the line? And I'm telling you, you haven't found the line yet. So how can you?
Well, I have because I go to the protest. The people that go in that stadium.
The protest is hardly a distraction, mate. It's people that are standing 5 feet across the side of the high road for 5 minutes before a game.
The protest led to Daniel Levy having to step down.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
No, it didn't. No, absolutely.
100%. That added to the reasoning. It wasn't the reason, but mate, he even came out and publicly said it got to me. He said they got to me. What are we doing here? He admitted it.
No, that's not why he left, though. He didn't leave. He was kicked out.
He was marched out. He wasn't even kicked. He was marched out.
Because the optics
never allowed back.
Because the optics were horrendous. Because the optics were horrendous.
Because they apparently uncovered things. Like they wouldn't have frog marched him out the door and shut off his access card because of optics. They frog marched him out because they obviously clearly uncovered something about his behaviour in contracts or whatever else.
Allegedly.
That's speculation. There's no evidence of that. That's pure speculation, Sean.
Allegedly.
That's rabbit hole nonsense. You've gone down the rabbit hole. Pure conspiracy. There's no evidence to back that up. No facts.
Can I just
What
say,
evidence do you have to back up the idea that he was like that he was sacked?
Because he said it got to me. He
That's not- but
publicly
he
said
didn't
it got
leave.
to
He
me.
didn't leave. He was sacked. He was frog
His
marked
wife
out.
stroked his hand and said, "It will be okay, Daniel."
He didn't leave. He was
Mate, he was
sacked.
under pressure. Sean, he was
was
under pressure.
sacked.
Yeah.
He was
Mate,
sacked.
let me tell you something, mate. He has got such a thick skin. Let me tell you, without going into too much detail, mate.
Not as thick as people think, Johnny. Not as
he's
thick as
got,
people think.
listen, he has a moment here and there. But look,
Yeah, he's human.
unfortunately, still, you know, what basically happened was they did an audit, an outside audit, whether someone grassed him up or someone said something and they delved in. He was not allowed in. He's not allowed in the ground. He's not allowed in the stadium. The uncomfortable thing is that his son is running Tavistock Group. So I'm not quite sure how that all works, to be truthful with you, but I'm sure it'll all come out in the wash. Maybe we'll have the Levy files at some point.
Maybe. And they'll be fascinating. They'll be
At the
fascinating.
end of the day, we know that fans haven't protested in huge numbers, okay? Until that happens, then the argument will be proven whether or not fans can force a change. But unfortunately, we can't get the numbers to back up the theory or disprove it, Sean. That's the reality.
there is an argument that the constant demonstrating and protesting by thousands of Man United fans led to the Glazers selling off 25% of their assets.
No, come on. What are we doing here?
He's right.
Ridiculous.
And Ineos are running the football side, which takes the pressure and all the insults away from the Glazers and onto Ratcliffe.
The reason why they sold 25%, Lubo, was because they had £1 billion stadium refit that was needed, or a £2 billion rebuild that was needed. They had no relationships with the government. They needed someone like Sir Jim Ratcliffe to come in to get the public funding, and they wanted to check out. They've taken £1 billion out in dividends over the last 20 years or whatever it is. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, come on. It's a leverage, Lubo. Come on, it's completely different.
30 million a year,
It's a
Johnny.
leverage buyout, a leverage buyout, mate, and they've taken billions out of the business, right? Completely different.
Johnny, that's costing Man United. I remember hearing on the radio last year, 30 million a year just on interest on the.
And ours is 25. Ours is 25.
But Lubo, they've got no grounds, they've got no infrastructure. They've actually built Carrington, and the guy that encouraged them to build the Carrington setup was the guy who was running our show under Pochettino, who helped start up and build the infrastructure for our Hotspur way. We've lost our way, right? But look, you know, the Glazers are on another level, mate. And you could get gentleman colonial Jim Ratcliffe in. Be careful what you wish for.
Lubo's right. Man United had tens of thousands, 20,000 fans. They gate crashed Liverpool Man United and stopped a live Premier League game from happening. They went to a different level. I'm not saying we do that, because that was illegal. A police officer got badly hurt as well that day. I'm not saying do that. But they got very, very large numbers, and it became very toxic in that club. And the Glazers realised something had to change. We have never taken it to that mass number to prove what can be done, because the best we've ever had was 2,000 fans. We've never pushed any further than that. So we as a fan base have accepted this ownership, and we've accepted that we can't make any kind of change, which is wrong in my opinion. I believe we can force a change, but our fan base doesn't believe it. They don't believe it.
But I'm just saying, you asked a question, and for me, I think that you sort of gave the answer yourself in just demonstrating your own willingness to give up the ultimate sacrifice, which is give up your season ticket. You might be right that if you give it up, someone else is going to take it. It's going to
There's 90,000 on the waiting list, Sean. 80,000. How's that going to change anything?
If that's the case, then you know that the ownership don't give a flying fuck, because you're irrelevant, and the next person will take the gig. So whether you stand outside the stadium and put up a yellow flag or otherwise, all they care about is money. Same with the Glazers, same with all of these guys. All they care about is money. Come on, let's be honest.
We're irrelevant when only 2,000 maximum protest. We are relevant when 10, 15,000 do it. Why? We saw in Man United.
Why is that more relevant?
Because that is a horrendous look on the ownership.
So what? But if they still got 90,000 people waiting to buy the ticket and pay and fill their cups with beer and burgers, then what difference does it make?
Because then Nike get on the phone and say, "This isn't a good look. This
Has that happened to
Manchester?
Has that happened to
The
Manchester
NFL?
United? Has that happened to Manchester United still? Has Manchester United lost any?
Hold on. It's not that one thing. It's a collective. Sponsors get on the phone and say, "This isn't a good look for us." People that hire corporate boxes who entertain wine and dine clients, they don't want to wine and dine in a toxic environment.
Same concept at Newcastle when thousands were protesting. Did that happen? Did they lose sponsors? No, they didn't. Does it happen to Manchester United? No, it hasn't.
Yeah, hold on. Mike, they forced the Newcastle fans forced Mike Ashley out. They forced him out.
15 years after they started protesting.
Because the FA wouldn't accept the owners that Mike Ashley found. They didn't pass their criteria.
Why was that? Because
there's criteria you have to meet to buy a Premier League club.
Because they wanted Saudi Arabia to finish the lawsuit on the copyright infringement via their
right, so he did find an owner, Sean, but it was out of his hands. The legalities are out of his hands.
Right. Hang on, only 2 years before, so 13 years of protesting. But in that 2 years, Newcastle's Mike Ashley only wanted to go when he got his pound. He got his pound of flesh. That's what it was. He wasn't going to accept anything less than what he thought the club was valued at. He got 300 million quid for it. So it's the well documented story, mate.
Sean,
like
I'm not saying Enoch shouldn't get the value of the shares. I'm not saying that shouldn't happen, but we should force them to expedite the process of selling those shares. We're allowing them to take as long as they want to sell the club.
Right. If someone was to come in and pay 4.5 billion quid right now, I think they'd bite your hand off for it. But no one's willing to do it.
Because they're not showing the level of desire to force the sale, to find someone. Listen, this club, like that, found £800 million, right? This club, right? It found £800 million like that to build a stadium. Why? There was a desire and a drive to do so. If they wanted to sell this club, and if there was a drive to do so, they can do it. But they're also happy to sit back and do fuck all. Because we allow them to. We have
see that's where I stretch. That's where you lose me, because like I say, there's no evidence of anything else in that regard working with regards.
There is, because we don't protest, Sean.
Yeah, but those that have, there's still no. It's
too small a group. The numbers are small, but it's not big.
Listen, we're at the 2 hour mark. We've got some super chats to go. We can continue this conversation another time. Big up to. We're still going to do this last segment of the show. We're going to do a quick points tally predictions from the four of us. Just super quick, Johnny. I know you're falling asleep. I know you've had a horrible day. But we've got to run the super chat from before. Before we get to that, Bourbon Buzzard, member for 6 months, says, "I joined when you guys started. You've all aged well for 6 months." I saw my mate Eugene in the chat earlier going, "Butler, you haven't slept in 6 days straight, mate. What's going on?" I've been fine, thanks, Ray. I haven't had a big session at all. Big up to you, Bourbon Buzzers. Big up to Destiny, who says Eugene is snitching on everyone. Don't worry. Eugene is a member of Mossad or CIA or something. We figured this out recently. And big up to Queen Ellie. She says, "To achieve glory, you have to do glorious things to get you there. What our owners do is nothing short of gory." Nice. They haven't got a clue how to get there. I agree. I think we all agree on that at the moment. It looks like just clueless rabbit in the headlights. Well, hopefully we can sneak our way through into the next season, and then hopefully we can figure it out in the summer. Big up to you, Ellie. Big up to you, Stuart. I know you've been waiting a long time for this one, mate. We're going to just quickly run through all of the 3 major teams. We're going to do Tottenham, Nottingham Forest, and West Ham. We can do Crystal Palace as well if you want, but just a quick shoot through. Everyone play along in the chat to figure out how many points we're going to get. Let's start with Tottenham. I can't bring it up on the screen because I've got this new browser. Sorry, guys.
I've got
Tottenham versus.
Sean, I've got the fixtures here.
Yeah, I know. I've got the fixtures. I just can't bring them up. That's the problem. Tottenham versus Arsenal. What are we saying, guys?
0.
Can we all agree on 0?
0.
Stel, you still there?
I am going to show some big balls here. I think, right, something very strange is going to happen on Sunday, and against all the laws of football, we're going to somehow pull out a 1-1 draw. I've just got a stupid, idiotic.
I thought you were going to say a win.
Rinse me,
I thought you were going to
cuss
say a
me.
win. Balls
No,
on the
no, no.
table
We're not
still,
going to
predict
win.
a
We're not going to
draw.
win. I've just got a sneaky feeling, somehow, undeservedly as well, may I add, Spurs are going to get a draw, and we are going to stifle their league campaign, and we're going to celebrate that motherfucking draw like we've won the Champions League.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm up for it. I'm there with that one.
We're going to celebrate it.
Let's do these fixtures quick though, right? Let's go through these fixtures quick. Fulham away. What are we saying?
1 point.
1 point?
3 points. 3 points.
Okay, so we're somewhere between 0 and 4 right now, give or take.
Fulham are going to beat us. They're going to beat us.
So nothing for Still. What about you, Sean?
I think a draw.
You think
I'm going for 3 points.
Okay. Palace at home.
3
Home
points.
win for me.
Yeah.
Still.
Fucking, we're so shit at home. I'm going to go for another draw.
A draw for Still. Okay. Liverpool away.
Are you making notes? Are you making notes on
I'm
this?
making notes. I'm making notes.
Hang on. Do you want to hear what mine is?
No. Yes, of course you do. Yeah, of course you do, Johnny.
3 points.
3 points. I'm 3 points as well for that one.
Yeah. Liverpool.
0 point.
0.
Bell.
So what game is this?
Liverpool away.
Liverpool. Pay attention, mate. We're trying to fit round the show off.
Sorry. I was just busy arguing with someone in the chat.
One word answers. 3 points, 1 point. I hope like win, lose, or draw. That's all we need to figure out what we're all going to be on.
We're going to lose.
Johnny?
Which one are you talking about now?
Liverpool away.
Oh, lose.
Okay. Forest at home.
Lubo, are you making notes for all of our individual scores, yeah?
All of them.
Okay, good man. What's the next one?
Forest at home.
3 points.
3 for me.
Who's their new manager?
Pereira.
Vitor Pereira.
Is that the guy that went into Wolves and kept them up last year? Or was that someone else?
No,
Yeah,
he's the guy. He's the guy that they gave, having lost, not won a game, they gave a 3-year contract for, and then sacked him 2 games later.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, win. Spurs win.
Johnny?
Draw.
A draw. Okay. Sunderland away.
Loss for me.
Loss.
Draw.
And a draw for me. Brighton at home.
Draw for me.
I don't know if Hertz is going to be the manager on that day or not. I
Win.
don't know if he's the manager. Fuck's sakes. Draw.
Wolves away.
Draw.
Win.
Draw.
Did you go draw? Sure. You went draw as well.
I went for a draw as well, yeah.
Right. So still, you're the only one who said a win, yeah?
Yeah.
Draw for me as well. Okay. Villa away.
Loss.
Loss for me.
Yeah.
Sean?
Yeah, loss. Johnny?
Okay.
Loss.
Leeds at home.
Win.
Win. Right. 3 points for all of us.
No.
No. Okay.
Draw.
For still.
Mm.
Chelsea away.
Loss.
Yeah.
Loss.
And Everton at home on the last day of the season.
Win.
Draw.
That's not fair, because if they're in a chance to get into Europe, they're going to go for it, aren't they? Draw.
Johnny?
Draw.
Draw for you. Sean?
Win.
So tallying up, Sean 4, 7, 8, 9. Sean's gone for 15 points. Still, you've gone 5, 6, 7, 10, 11. You've gone for 12, which should be enough to get us up. Johnny's gone for 3, 6, 7, 10, 11, 14, 15.
Come on, Johnny.
And I've gone for 4, 7, 8, 11, 12. I've gone for 18.
It's not normal.
All right, listen. Super quick on this one, just super quick. Lubo, you still got this one's for Nottingham. I think Nottingham Forest is brutal. Listen to Nottingham Forest, right? They got Liverpool away.
Lost.
Oh, sorry, Liverpool at home. Sorry, lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, Liverpool at Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
Am I making notes here? Right.
Yeah. Make notes. Yeah. Make notes.
They can win that. Liverpool are terrible on the road. They can win that.
Right. Hold on. Sorry, Sean, you've gone for.
I've gone for a loss.
I've gone for a loss. Johnny.
Loss.
Win.
Still.
Forest win.
Forest win. Right. Go on. Next one.
Brighton away.
Forward.
Loss.
Loss.
Draw.
Draw for me.
City at home. Oh,
Loss.
sorry, City away. Sorry, City away.
Loss.
City away.
Loss. Getting battered.
Yeah.
Fulham at home.
Draw.
Draw for me.
Draw.
Loss.
Sean.
Yeah, loss. Sorry, draw for me.
Draw
for me against Fulham.
Okay.
Then Tottenham away.
I said. What
Draw.
did I say?
Draw.
I said win.
Did I say win? I can't remember. What did I say, Lubo?
Tottenham away. Johnny, you went for a draw there.
Yeah, I got to go.
And all of us went for a Spurs win, so that makes
No.
life.
No. It's not
Spurs
away,
lost.
mate. I said what was my prediction for Spurs v Forest?
A draw.
Yeah, so I'll have to go draw. That's it. Yeah.
What did I predict for Spurs v Forest? The win for Spurs.
Yeah, the three of us.
So three losses. So 3 losses in a draw for Forest. Next one is Villa at home.
Cool.
Draw.
Loss.
Loss for me.
Draw.
So which club? Which
Villa
away did you say?
at home.
Loss.
Okay.
And then next one is Burnley at home. Win.
Yeah. Win for
Win.
me.
Win.
Still.
No, I think that's a draw as well.
Okay.
And then Sunderland away. Loss.
Loss.
Then Chelsea away.
Loss.
Loss.
Then Newcastle at home.
Loss.
Draw.
Win.
Ooh. Sorry, you went for a draw, Johnny?
Yeah. So you think Fulham will beat them, but not Newcastle away?
Sean?
Yeah, I've gone for a draw there.
Okay.
And then Man United away. Loss.
Loss.
And then last game of the season is Bournemouth at home.
Loss.
I went for a draw. Draw.
Draw for me.
Loss.
And that's it. So, yeah.
Hold on. What did you go, Sean?
I went for a draw. Forest fixtures are
Johnny,
fucking
what
brutal.
was yours?
Loss.
Yours is a loss. So, for Forest, Sean has gone for 4, 5, 6 points. Stell's gone for 9 points. Johnny's gone
Are we above Forest in the league?
Yeah, 3
No.
points. Yes, for 3 points.
Oh, yeah, we're above them. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Johnny's gone for 6 points, and I've gone for 6 points. So
Yeah, right. So we basically need to win one game.
They got some tough fixtures. But
got
listen,
brutal-
if they
brutal
find if they find last season's form with this team, they won't have any problem staying up. That's the difference.
Johnny, do you know what it's going to come down to for them? They must beat us at our ground for them to stay up.
Yeah.
If they don't beat us, I think that's because that's a 6 pointer for them. Just like we must beat Palace and Leeds and Forest. If we just win those 3, we stay up.
We have a much superior goal difference as well. So we're essentially 4 points ahead of them. So if you guys all think they're only going to get 6 points, then one win for Tottenham will be enough to get past them.
Do you know what needs to happen with this new manager? He's got to fix our home form because the away games we've got are horrendous. Those away games, they sound terrible, but at home, we've probably got the easiest games at home on paper.
well, after Arsenal, still we've got what do we got? We got Palace, Forest, Brighton, Leeds.
Oh, by the way, sorry, Forest are 2 points behind us, not
Yeah, so Forest are in free fall, Brighton are in free fall, Leeds we're battling with them for relegation. So if we just do well in our home games after Arsenal, it's job done because they're the teams that we're battling with to go down.
Yeah.
And we'll all be seeing.
If we don't win those games against the relegation teams around us at our ground, mate, we deserve to be relegated.
Yeah.
So basically, according to us tonight, we'll be singing "He's the reason we're playing Premier League next season."
Igor Tudor.
Igor.
He's the reason.
So if we get,
I love the Tudors, mate. Who's your favourite
If we
Tudor?
get 15 points, by the way, if we get 15 points that Johnny and I and you, I think Lubo, you said 18 points.
I said 18.
So that would put, by Johnny and my calculation, that would put us on 44. By yours, it'd be 47. And outside chance, 47 points gets you a slot in the Conference League next year.
Stop it! Stop it! Absolutely.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Not going to happen. But if we tell you what, if we get a result against Arsenal, those conversations will start being had. Are we possible outside chances here?
Do you know what? I've always advocated that we must be in Europe. I don't give a shit what happens, but we must.
The only way is.
Let me land the point. But I've got to say, given the situation we're in now.
Did he just say "let me land"?
He did say "let me land," yeah. This land, let me land.
Yeah, I never accept any fan saying we need a year away from Europe. I will never accept that. However, given the fact we're in a relegation battle and we are probably going to lose Romero and the amount of work that needs to be done in the summer, if we are genuinely going to do the right thing in the summer, we probably need that 1 year of just focusing on the team and the league. We probably just need... Otherwise, because you know what my concern is, Sean? Every manager that comes to Spurs, the reason they struggle is because they're in multiple competitions and they haven't got the squad. And when injuries kick in, they're fucked. And they haven't got the balls to just write off a competition and just focus on one thing. You could say maybe Ange did that, but most managers won't do that. In fact, they're never going to do that again. So if Poch comes in the summer and we say, right, Poch, you're in Europe, Carabao Cup, FA Cup and Premier League, he's going to fail. He will fail because the squad isn't going to be ready for that. It simply won't. We're not going to go and sign 10 top players in the summer. No. I just don't see it happening. So maybe we need a year out. Maybe.
Still, if you want Europe, and then if we're talking about being delusional here, we'll be singing 17th. You know the rest.
We lost in Budapest.
We got spanked in Budapest.
Yeah. All right, guys, listen, big up to everyone. We didn't even bother doing West Ham fixtures. We can do them if you want, but I think we've kind of got the answer. If we just get a couple of points, it should be Forest that are the problem child. Would you rather West Ham go down or Forest go down, Johnny, just out of curiosity?
If I'm honest, I hate West Ham more than I hate Forest, but I don't hate anyone more than it's a toss-up between Marinakis and Arteta. I'd love to see Marinakis get his just desserts after screwing over Crystal Palace, after screwing over Morgan Gibbs-White and holding his dog hostage, and having 4 managers. I think Forest should be the one to suffer this season, as much as I hate Forest.
I think, guys, honestly, I'm not saying this for clicks and that. I actually think Brighton might go down.
They'd be a shame if they went down. I like Brighton.
Yeah, I love
it's
Brighton.
Possible. It's definitely possible.
Definitely possible.
I've mentioned it
definitely
myself.
Possible,
Yeah.
They're in absolute freefall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are Forest though. Crystal Palace are just trying to scramble.
Yeah, but Forest have changed the manager and it might change it. Whereas Brighton, they're just sticking with the manager in freefall. In fact, they're the only club in freefall that's done that who didn't back the manager in the window as well.
Yeah. For some reason, as much as I should absolutely detest West Ham. Again, maybe it's because I just don't know any West Ham people in my life, but I would rather Forest go down and see that fucking Greek fat shipping unit guy taste a bit of his own corrupt medicine.
Easy with the Greek, man.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, sorry. I'm just trying to, because if I said that fat guy, then it could have been.
Now listen, we like.
Sean
Greek-
could have just said that fat Greek owner, but no, he's got a body shame, racially shame, football club shame. Just
No
We're getting
Greeks
cancelled.
were harmed. Hang on, no Greeks were harmed in the.
this
making of this
fucking
video.
Greek. This.
Oh no, it happened again. What did he just say? I guess it's time to say goodbye. We're getting canceled today.
That's right.
Before we get cancelled,
bad
guys.
habit. You're bringing over bad habits now from that
Yeah.
program that can't be named.
It's
Yeah.
okay though, because
Guys,
as my
guys.
man Lee says, I'm 8% Nigerian, so I can kind
Yeah.
of get away with a little bit. I'm probably a little bit Greek, to be honest. I'm probably a little bit
Listen,
Greek. I haven't checked
guys.
the updates.
Listen, guys, do us a favour, hit the like and the subscribe button. Your like game is poor. Our game is strong. Your game is poor. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It's free, doesn't cost you a penny, helps the algorithm grow. And let's be honest, the more followers we get, the better guests we can have.
That's right. That's right.
Listen, I hope West Ham go down. I hope the bin dippers get sent to the Championship, and then we can go and get Jared Bowen and whatever other good players they've got. Right, send the spammers down. I say
Somerville.
Send them
Oh,
down.
I'd like to get Jimmy Somerville. I quite like him.
Take Somerville, take Bowen.
Yeah,
Right,
there's,
guys.
There's better targets at Forest though. There's better players at Forest. You
Yeah.
could get.
I don't want
Murillo,
Morgan Gibbs White.
You
Don't
could
want
get
Morgan Gibbs-White.
Elliot Anderson, Murillo, Igor Tudor. There's a bunch of decent players you
Well,
can get out of Forest.
Igor Tudor.
Why don't you want Gibbs
Igor
White,
Tudor.
Johnny?
I mean Igor Jesus. Sorry, my bad.
Wait, Johnny, why don't you want Gibbs White? Or is that a joke?
No, I got to be honest with you. Before when we were linked with signing him, I said that what I felt was his final ball was poor, and he flatters to deceive and gives the ball away far too often, right? And I said that I got quite a bit of stick for it, and then funny enough, Wolfie, was it Wolfie that endorsed that sentiment, Sean, or was it someone else? Can't remember.
What was the sentiment?
About Morgan Gibbs White.
Yeah.
Final ball.
Wolfie called it. He said you guys can have him. He goes, I want us to win this battle because, fuck Tottenham. But for what it's worth, you guys think you're buying the guy that you see on the highlight reel. But if you actually watch him for 90 minutes, he frustrates the life out of Forest fans. Always, I've learned the lesson this year. Listen to the fans of the team, of the player that you're targeted with, because the West Ham fans called Kudus, and Wolfie and other Forest fans that I know called Gibbs White. So,
Do you know what? Kudus, man. Kudus. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He's injured.
all right, guys, listen, we'll let us go now. We'll wish you all a happy evening. And is there anyone to send it over to? Send us? Let's see, who can we send you?
Yeah,
over
I've
to?
already done the redirect. It's going to the 2 Mark show.
Oh, nice. All right. Enjoy the 2 marks, and we'll see you guys on Thursday. Like, subscribe.
On your
comment,
marks.
as always.
On your marks.
Get set.
Johnny loves
Bye-bye.
a pun, doesn't he? He loves a good pun.
Loves a
Love
pun.
a pun.
See you guys.
Bye, Jeff.
Love a pun
Jeff.
in the oven. See you later.